All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Amber Flight Gaming Scholomance Academy card review, part 1. We've got some other fellow AFG crew with me. So, hello, everybody. How's everyone doing tonight? You all ready for this card review?
Oh yeah, doing great. Excited to talk about some cool new cards.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited for it. I think it's going to be a fun time.
I'm also excited, and I feel like there's so many cards that everyone has such differing opinions. It'll be very fun.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Okay, so we have scores for Itachi and Krakowak that we'll just kind of be saying as we go. And up on the screen, we have the kind of ratings that we went with this time. And just a quick rundown. We are doing this half of the set tonight, half tomorrow. And tonight we're going to be doing 6 of the classes. And then tomorrow night we'll do the other 4 and the neutral cards. So we are going to be starting with Demon Hunter. First card is Vile Fiend Trainer, 4 mana, 5/4, Outcast, summon 2 1/1 demons. Let's see, yeah. Krakowak and I each gave it a 2, and Itachi also gave it a 2.
Yeah, this one's probably never gonna see play. I feel like Demon Hunter just does. On turn 4, I don't think you're gonna be playing this card, and even if it's Outcast. Okay, if it's Outcast on turn 4, it's actually pretty good, but there's no way you're getting this Outcast on turn 4. There's just better things to do, like equipping a weapon so that you can glaive bound on 5, and there's a lot of good Demon Hunter cards this set. I don't think this is the one that you'll be playing. So I think I gave it a 1. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also gave it a 1. It's just not good enough for Demon Hunter. The Outcast is clunky. It loses to power creep.
I ended up giving this one a 2 because I don't think it's at the point where it's going to not be played at all. I think it will see some fringe play. I think there's going to be a kind of a token deck out there somewhere that's going to see a little bit of play. I don't think it's going to be a tier 1 or necessarily even a tier 2 deck, but I think people are going to try to make it work, and they're going to put this card in there.
Yeah. All right. Go ahead and go to the second one here. Blood Herald, a 5 mana. This is actually a dual class. I guess I should have mentioned that earlier. We will be evaluating the dual class cards per class. So as we go, so for this one, we're going to rate it right now as we see it in Demon Hunter. And then later when we discuss Hunter cards, we will evaluate it as we see it in Hunter. So 5 mana, 1/1. Whenever a friendly minion dies while this is in your hand, gain +1/+1. This one, Krakowak and I each gave it a 2. It might see some fringe play. Maybe something like, if there's some sort of token style thing or something. Tachi gave it a 1. I don't know. It's kind of clunky. Costs a lot. You have to be holding it to get the effect. It seems eh.
I don't like that it's just one big thing, and it's only a big thing if a bunch of other things happen. Like for 5 mana, even if this 7 things die, I don't think that's gonna happen by turn 5, by the way, but even if it does, it's just stats. It has no immediate effect on the board either, and all of Demon Hunter's cards that they played do something when they're played, and this just doesn't. And it's hard to get the effect to really be that great. Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, I gave this one a 2 for the same reason I gave the last one a 2. But the thing is with this one, like Neji said, it's going to be kind of clunky. The 5 mana is going to make it really hard to play, and if you top deck this, you're going to be in a really bad place. If this can get really huge though in the right build, but I think it's going to see maybe playing a tier 3 deck at the most.
I also gave this a 1. I want token Demon Hunter to be a thing. I really do. And even if it is a thing with Blood Herald, are you going to keep Blood Herald in your opening hand? It will only be good in your opening hand, I think, and you would never keep it. So I just can't even see it in it.
Yeah, that's true as well. Actually, yeah. You can't keep this, and it's only good if you have it early.
Yeah. Also, just dies to like Zephyrus, right? So easily. Like so many ways it dies to Zeph.
It's just stats. It doesn't do anything.
Yeah. Okay. Next card.
In all fairness, we could say just about anything dies to Zeph, though.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
All right. Double jump. 1 mana. Draw an Outcast card from your deck. I think I rated this probably the highest out of everybody. I give this a 4. Krakowek gave it a 2. Itachi gave it a 3. I don't know. I kind of like it. I think if you're including this, then it's gonna be really part of what you're doing. And you're wanting to draw your Outcast cards, and then you can draw the Outcast, and you can build your deck in a way where you draw the Outcast card, and then it's gonna be on the right, and then you can play the Outcast card. So I don't know. Personally, I like it.
The thing I don't like about this card is that you play it and you have to play the Outcast card the turn you play this, because if you don't, then it's immediately off the right side, and then you rely on the card that you top deck to also be playable that turn so that you can Outcast what you get. So if you're like getting Skull off of this, you have to do it on turn 7, and Skull on 7 is like, it's slightly worse, but also I feel like the one place that this actually could see play is with Glide in like a mega aggro deck, where Glide is your top end, and then you use this to tutor Glide to get more cards.
But if you're playing this in a deck with Skull,
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine that a lot of other decks, or a lot of other cards that you're playing, are going to end up being free in that instance. I don't know that you're necessarily going to want to put this in the deck with Skull otherwise.
Mm. Yeah, like this doesn't even draw Skull for sure.
3, though.
I think I gave this one a 2. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it only draws Skull for sure if you put Skull as your only Outcast card.
Mm-hmm.
But Outcast is a huge mechanic for Demon Hunter.
Kind of. Even now in the Demon Hunter deck, almost all the Outcast has been removed. Like, Sigil Runner's gone, the Draw 2 cards is gone. Like, a lot of the Outcast is gone now. I can't think what else is in there besides Skull.
Yeah, I can't even think of anything.
I think it's just Skull now. Like, all the Outcast is pretty much gone. So I gave this card a 3, and I almost gave it a 4. Because there is a deck out there that people are theory crafting that you basically, like Neji was saying, you dump your hand. You play really low cost, you dump your hand, you double jump to get Glide. Or Skull, if you could run both. So I think if that deck is good, it'll be good. But I only gave it a 3.
Yeah, I think that's really where the power of double jump comes in, is it's a targeted tutor. So if the power of your deck lies in a specific Outcast card, and you run 2 of those cards, and there's no other Outcasts that you run, and then you run 2 double jumps, now you've got 4 copies of that card. So you're guaranteed almost to hit that card.
Mm-hmm. I like it with Glide. I don't like it with anything else.
All right, next one. Fell Guardians, 7 mana. Summon 3 1/2 demons with taunt. Costs 1 less whenever a friendly minion dies. This one, let's see. We all scored pretty low. I gave it a 2. Krakow gave it a 2. Itachi gave it a 2. Again, maybe in like that fringe play in like a token style deck or something. That's about it.
Yeah, this is no Corridor Creeper.
Yeah.
I feel like you don't even get anything for the payoff's not even that good. Like 1/2 demons with taunt. And I just don't think token demon hunters will be a thing. There's just like insane aggro and like tempo cards that you'll be playing that came out, and also just the good Demon Hunter cards that are already being played. Too slow, I think. No good payoff. So I give it a 1.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely on the 1 train with this card. It's I just don't think it's very good. I don't think the 1/2s are impactful enough to really do anything. They're going to be cleared too easily.
I also gave it a 1. I agree with y'all. I don't have much to add.
Okay. Verdict, it's bad. Next card. All right. Another dual class card, but 1 mana Demon Companion. Summon a random Demon Companion. Now, these are, it's essentially half of Animal Companion, and they are demons instead of beasts. This one, I gave this a 3. Krakowak gave it a 4. Itachi gave it a 4. I'm not completely sold on this one. I think with Demon Hunter, like, you're using it probably just to get the demon thing. Maybe you're getting something out good on one, but I don't think it's gonna see play in like every deck or anything. I think it's fine.
I think this card is like just really good on turn 1. There's the 2/2 taunt's really good. The 2/1 charge is like immediate damage, and then the 1/2 is like might even be the best one. Not on turn 1, obviously, but later in the game, like you play a lot of minions, and having a 1 mana 1/2 that buffs all your things for 1 attack, that's also really good. I think this just slots in pretty nicely as just an early play for the deck, so I gave it a 4.
Yeah, I gave this one a 4 too. It does just about anything you're going to want it to do for. I mean, 1 mana for the minion. It's going to be a 2/2, a 2/1, or 1/2. Whatever the stats end up being, it's going to do some work for you. Especially if you're able to get it down on turn 1.
Yeah, I also gave it a 4. I think Blazing Battle Mage is kind of the standard for 1-drops, and it's running a lot of decks, and I think this is better. Because even if you get it late game, it can have more effect, like the Liak ability. So yeah, I think it's a better Blazing Battle Mage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. The next one, though, I see we have some differing opinions. All right, here we go. Another dual class card. True Aim Crescent. This is a weapon, 1 mana, 1 attack, 4 durability. After your hero attacks a minion, your minions attack it too. Okay. So I'm going to say the other scores first. Krakowak gave this a 5. Itachi gave it a 4. I gave it a 2. I'm not seeing the hype with this card. Everybody seems excited. I'm like, it's... I don't know. I don't see the hype. I don't like it.
I think it's just it's kind of weird, but it's 1 mana for 4 durability, and it basically gives all your minions rushed for the rest of like the entire early game and start of the mid game, which is pretty good. And also, if you have minions on board, you can hit into this. They'll trade in, and if they survive, they also can go face. So you can attack twice with everything. And especially with we'll get to this card later, Ace Hunter Kreen. I'll just say that the synergy with that is like actually just insane, because you play this, you attack stuff, you have Kreen on the board, all your things can trade in for free, don't take any damage, and they can go face. That seems pretty good to me. So I give this one a 4. I think it'll be quite good in Tempo Demon Hunter, but that's probably the only deck I'll see playing.
Okay, I gave this card a 3. And there's one reason I liked it quite a bit, and it has nothing to do with what the card says. It's a 1/4 weapon in Tempo Demon Hunter, which I think will help with your Glavebound turn and your Satyr turns. Like, it'll bring that back where you could actually play Glavebound on 5, Satyr on 3. And there was another thing I was thinking about with it too, is if the Enrage package is still in, this would be an easy way to pop your Enrage package if you can manipulate it right and, get much more buffed in Rage, Bone Shower Brawlers, and things like that.
Yeah, that's nice too.
Yeah, I gave this one a 4. It just has an insane amount of synergy with anything that Demon Hunter wants to do. If you want to run the token package, then you're going to be removing a lot of tokens, using them to get rid of your opponent's minions after you have already sent them to their face. You're going to be enabling any of your other synergies, as far as like Christine was just saying, anything that you need to attack first to enable to use things from hand, like the Glaive-bound Adept, etc. The Kreen, like Neji was saying, there's just so many different things that you can do with this true Aim Crescent, and it's just truly such an insanely versatile weapon for the Demon Hunter class. The only thing that I'm not sure if it fits into is the control package, and even then it may work out in some instances, but we'll have to play around with that a little bit once everything gets released.
I don't know if you saw what Dr. Fish asked. I actually saw this asked earlier of what order it is. And what everyone is saying is that it's the order in which you played the minions is how it attacks.
I didn't even know that.
So you can kind of manipulate it more on how you want things to attack. It does add another layer.
I feel like it just does so much for 1 mana. Like, I think you got to play this.
I'm ready to be proven wrong. I still just I just don't see it. I don't know. I feel like people are over evaluating how much value you're gonna get from this. I think maybe in combination with Kreen, like maybe you can get something going, but I feel like a lot of times you're either just gonna be attacking and killing the thing anyways with what you have equipped, or you're gonna be taking too much damage when you hit into this. Or you're just sending like all of your minions into one thing, and then why are you also taking the face damage? I don't know. I'm seeing it just like it's just gonna be a weapon that you have equipped a lot of time, and that you're gonna want to use a little bit less often than what you have it equipped for, and it's just gonna sit there, and then you're gonna feel bad because you want to play a different weapon. So I don't know. I'm ready to see it. I want to see these cool combos that all of you see.
There are other good weapons, so maybe.
Yeah. I think you're reading too much into the text. I think if you just ignore the text and just see it as a 1-mana 1/4 in Demon Hunter, I think you'll see a little bit more of the potential.
Yeah, maybe that's true. Yeah.
Just send it face with Satyrs and Glaive-bound Adept.
That's fair. And that's the fringe play that I see. You're just hitting face with it. All right. Let's go ahead and go to the next one. Ancient Voidhound, 9 mana demon, 10/10. At the end of your turn, steal 1 attack and health from all enemy minions. This one, again, we kind of all have some varying views on it. I don't like this card at all. I gave it a 1. I think it's terrible. I don't think it's really going to see play. Crackwack gave it a 4. He thinks it's pretty solid, especially if, like, kind of bigger Demon Hunter decks are being played. And Itachi gave it a 3.
Yeah, I gave it a 1 as well. I don't like it at all. I agree, it's pretty trash. Like, Demon Hunter, there's no way that big Demon Hunter, with the cards that have been shown and the cards that they have, there's no way that deck is better than like Tempo Demon Hunter, Aggro Demon Hunter, and this card never goes in that deck. So I don't think there's
let's
any
go,
way you
son.
put this. There's no way you put this in Tempo Demon Hunter. No way.
I'm ready to prove you wrong.
I'm ready.
I'm giving this card a 4 all day long.
Christine just laughed.
Especially, okay, there are ways to cheat this out in Demon Hunter, first of all. So if you can make that happen, you're on the road to success. Even if you can't cheat it out, if you can play out the game, we've already seen some success with Control Demon Hunter in some of the qualifier tournaments. Now, if we can keep that train going, now we've seen some cards that released in this new set coming up that are gonna bring that up a little bit, especially with this Ancient Voidhound. So anything that can remove attack and health from all of your enemy minions, even if, all right, say they have a full board, you just removed 14 in stat, or sorry, you just removed 14 total, like 7 in stats from their board in one turn. Even if they kill it,
Too slow.
tell me that's not worth 9 mana.
I mean, it's worth 9 mana. It's just too slow. I don't think you're playing this card. Like, if you play it on 9, sure, it might be okay. But if you're playing Demon Hunter, like Dr. Fish said, the game should be over by turn 8.
And not if you're playing control.
That is true.
So Bitbeaker is the perfect reason I gave this card a 2. I think it's bad, but I think it's French. I think there's people out there who want Big Demon Hunter to be a thing so bad. So they're going to try and make it work. I hope they do, but I think it'll be more French.
In all fairness to Christine, I do play a lot of meme decks.
This is a good big demon. Like, definitely, like, if you want a big demon, this is like the best thing you're ever going to get. So we'll see.
It's a cool design for sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next one. Sociologist, Militia, I'm going to say. Hopefully that's right.
Yeah, I don't know how to say that one.
7 mana, 5/5, battle cry. For each soul fragment in your deck, summon a 3/3 soul with rush. And the soul fragments are, 0, and they're casts when drawn, and you gain 2 health, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. This one, let's see. I'm not sold on it. I gave it a 2. Crackwack really likes this one a bit more. He gave it a 4, and Itachi also gave it a 2. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's that great, but Crackwack decided that, if you want to be on board, and if you're going to have the souls and you're playing that, then even though this is a little bit late, you can kind of go wide on board and get some trades, and it seems good if you're going that route. So that's why he liked it.
It seems like a decent payoff, but there's a few things I see with this where, first of all, I don't think you're playing all of the shuffle soul fragment cards in your... Okay, I'm talking about Tempo Demon Hunter here. So if you're playing like a Tempo Demon Hunter deck with the weapon, and there's the 5/5 that breaks them and like goes face, all your good Demon Hunter soul fragment cards destroy the soul fragments. And this payoff is like, it's decent, but you need like maybe 2 or 3 of these for it really to be any good. And again, in Tempo Demon Hunter, at that point in the game, you don't really need that kind of effect. You're more looking for like burst damage to finish them off. So if anything, this would see playing like a control Demon Hunter deck. And then that's the other problem. I don't think you're going to be playing control Demon Hunter with soul fragments in this. It's just kind of awkward. I think it's better in Warlock, which we could talk about later, but
it probably creates a new Demon Hunter.
Yeah, like this would go in a new kind of deck. I don't think it goes in anything we see right now.
Are we able to look at the deck recipes yet? Have we seen those?
I think
I
they're in the
imagine
game.
I imagine
Yeah.
this would be like a deck recipe kind of deck. I don't think it's powerful enough to be anything else.
Yeah, I think I also gave this a 2. It's almost a 1. The payoff just is, yeah, like you were saying exactly. The payoff is not worth it. Like if you ran all the Soul Shard like cards, how many are actually going to be in your deck by then that you didn't draw or didn't already use for their payoff? I just don't think the payoff's worth it, but I definitely like the fragments a lot.
Yeah, I guess you can bring up that point. I think Christine and I were talking a little bit earlier before we started the stream, but I'm kind of looking at the soul fragment stuff in the same way that I think everybody was looking at Librams before. Like, to me, it kind of feels like the same concept, because we've never had quite something like this with all of the synergies. So I don't know. I feel like people were buying in on the Librams like the same way. It was either you're not running any of them or you're running all of the Libram stuff. Kind of, I'm looking at this the same way. Like you're either running all of the soul stuff or not. But I think it's going to end up somewhere in the middle where if you are running this, it's like a few of the soul fragment stuff and you're not running all of it.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah,
comparison.
I can definitely see a couple of the soul fragment cards that you would run without running the payoff cards.
I think the weapon, you could literally just play the weapon in your deck and have no other soul fragment cards, and it's good.
I think
Like-
Spirit Jailer is also pretty solid.
Yeah, that card's pretty good too.
It's well statted. You're not sacrificing a lot. We're jumping.
Well, I mean, that one, those two, and Soul Shear would probably be pretty good without the payoff cards. But now we've got 3 cards, so at that point, why not just run the payoff cards?
I guess
I
it
think
depends
they're
on
all
what
different
kind.
decks.
Yeah, I was going to say it depends on what kind of deck you're running then.
Yeah, we'll get to them.
Yeah.
Soon, very soon.
Well, let's go ahead and move to the next one then. That is Soul Shear, a 2-mana, deal 3 damage to a minion, shuffle 2 soul fragments into your deck. Let's see, this one, Krakok and I both really liked this one. Each of us gave it a 4. Itachi rated it a 2. I don't know, I just like the kind of cheaper being able to deal damage, and then you start getting these soul fragments going. Seems fine.
Yeah, I gave this one a 3. And it's because it's very similar in functionality to I-Beam. Being 2 mana, I found myself many times playing I-Beam for 3 just because I couldn't outcast it, but I needed to play it. And then this shuffles the 2 soul fragments. You're not guaranteed to see it, but you can gain up to 4 life, which is more than I-Beam. It's not necessarily going to happen, but the difference in mana is possibly could make a difference. You might not necessarily be able to play a 3-mana Soul Beam on a turn and still have mana left over to do something else. And you may not be able to have it outcast. So I think running Soul Shear is a good compromise if you don't want to run the Soul Beam.
I think this is like probably the worst of the shuffle soul fragment cards, and I don't think you need that high of a density of them. This and Tempo Demon Hunter is never happening because I've played a lot of Hunter, and Corrosive Breath on 2 and not hitting face is terrible. It's bad. So this in Tempo Demon Hunter I don't think it's going to happen, and I don't think Control Demon Hunter is happening either. So the only chance I see is if you really, for some reason, need a high density of soul fragments, then maybe you put this in. So that's why I put it at 2 instead of a 1. But I feel like you're probably not playing this.
Yeah,
I
but
agree.
Neji, how many times have you played Corrosive Breath on 2, not hit face, and still won the game?
Not very
Not
often.
much.
That's a really bad turn too.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with Neji on this. Like, the power level of the card by itself is a 1. Like, I-Beam's better, and I-Beam isn't even run anymore. Most of the decks have taken I-Beam out. It's just not a great card, but if you need soul fragments, it's a card. I don't know. I gave it a 2 because of the soul fragments.
All right. More soul fragments here. We have Shatter Mystic, 3-mana, 3/2 Battlecry. Destroy a soul fragment in your deck to deal 3 damage to all other minions. Let's see. This one, Crackwack and I really like this. I gave it a 4. Crackwack gave it a 5. Natachi gave it a 3. I like the idea of being able to clear. Again, I don't think this is going into like just a Tempo Demon Hunter, because generally you're gonna have a board and you don't want to be clearing your own stuff. So I think a lot of the soul fragment stuff is going in its own deck. It's creating a new deck, which is why I gave it a 4. Like maybe it's a tier 2 type deck, but you're kind of using the Soul Fragment stuff to build something else, not Tempo Demon Hunter.
Yeah, this one looks... I really like the payoff for this one, but again, like you said, it's not going in Tempo Demon Hunter, and I already mentioned that I don't think Control Demon Hunter is going to happen, so that just means this card has no place. But the payoff is good. I just don't think you're playing this in any decks.
I think the only thing I'm really torn about with this card is that, so when you think about the combo Demon Hunter we have now with like Magtheridon and the Healy weapon and all that, Demon Hunter already has quite a bit of cards that do this. They have so many board clears. Is this one as good? Is it worth running all the soul shards for another board clear? I don't know.
Yeah, I can see a control style Demon Hunter popping up in the meta, but I don't think that you can see this card with Soul Fragments going into that deck. I gave this one a 2 because I think there are going to be some people out there trying to make it work. I think it will see some fringe play as some kind of weird Soul Fragment deck that's really bad, but people are going to play it anyway. But I think that's going to be the extent of it.
Maybe it also ends up seeing a little more play if if the meta is a bit more like aggro or wide boards, like token deck type things. Maybe you're playing this too.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not sure. Maybe.
Yeah, it's questionable. We'll see.
All right. Well, still more Soul Fragment cards. Next one here, Soul Shard Lapidary. 5 mana, 5/5. Battle Cry. Destroy a Soul Fragment in your deck to give your hero +5 attack this turn.
Cards nuts.
Yeah, I think we all rated it pretty well across the board here. I gave it a 4. Crackwack gave it a 4. Itachi gave it a 5. Seems pretty solid.
Definitely pretty insane. It's basically Glaive-bound Adept, but you get to run 2 more copies of it. Nice. Seems good. But also, it just happens on 5 if you already have Soul Fragments. You have to wait for a weapon. So if you curve the 4-mana weapon into this thing, you just dealt 9 damage, and then you deal another 4 with the weapon. So 13 damage in 2 turns seems pretty good.
Yeah, I also gave this a 5. I got to play with it in the Tavern Brawl thingy majiggy where you gotta put the cards early. It was just nuts. And like a lot of what Demon Hunter has morphed into now has been a deck that has insane reach at the end, right? You're running Vulpiras, you're running the 5-drop dragon to get more slices. So you can just do like 13 or 14 damage in one turn with like 5 slices. So I think this just gives that deck even more reach at the end. So yeah, I think it's bonkers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gave this one a 4 because, for one, in the Tempo Demon Hunter, I think it's replacing the dragon because the dragon pool is going to be diluted with the 1-mana spells from this set. It's not going to be as good and as consistent. It's not necessarily, you're not going to be able to slam it down on 5 every game because it's very dependent on whether or not you get those Soul Fragments in your deck. And it's going to be dependent on what you can play, what you can curve into. Now, if you can play a Marrow Slicer on 4, then you're golden, and you can slam in your opponent for 9, and that's going to feel great. But like I said, it's going to be very dependent on whether or not you can get Soul Fragments into your deck by the time you play this Soul Shard Lapidary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is harder to set up than Glaive-bound because you have to draw the Soul Fragment cards. I think you're just running the 1/3 and the weapon, and then weapons like Glaive-bound you can always do in 6 if you need to with your hero power. This you really have to draw one of those 4 cards. So we'll see.
So is this stuff gonna be like the opposite of bombs, where you're putting bombs in your opponent's deck and you want them to draw it and they never do, and then you're going to put soul fragments into your own deck. And cards like this, you're like, okay, stay in the deck, and then you'll just draw the soul fragments. Is that how this is gonna work?
Yeah.
Right, you skull into fragment. You're like, nah.
Right.
You're gonna Marrow Slicer on 4. You're gonna draw fragment, and then you can't play your Lapidary.
Well, fragments are pretty terrible with Skull. I didn't even think about that. They completely ruin the Outcast card. It won't be
Yep.
discounted.
Yeah. Yep.
It's probably still too good to not run, but
There's gonna be some like trolled-in videos of that kind of stuff happening, though, for sure.
Fragment.
Yeah. All right. Well, speaking of Marrow Slicer, that's our next card here. So it is a 4-mana weapon, 4 attack, 2 durability, battle cry. Shuffle 2 soul fragments into your deck. Let's see this one. I gave it a 4. Crackwack just gave it a 2. Itachi gave it a 5. Crackwack wasn't as sold on this. Yeah, he didn't think it was as great of a weapon. But I think it's solid. This is basically like, well, why can't I remember the name now? True Silver. Right? Like, you're getting the heal later if you draw those, but also in Demon Hunter, like Demon Hunter is also built around attacking. So having a fairly high attack weapon seems pretty good.
Yeah, this card's ridiculous. This enables all your good cards, like the Lapidary, the Glaive Bound. I give this one a 5. Oh my gosh. Even without if you're running no soul fragments, I think you could still play this for all your synergies and just 8 damage to the weapon. It's just so much damage that you're dealing. It's actually kind of crazy.
This card could have no text, and I would still give it a 5. That tells you how much better the Demon class cards, the Demon Hunter class cards are than Paladin.
Yeah.
I guess I just gave it a 3. I think by itself it's fine. It has a lot of great synergy, but by itself I don't think it's like ridiculous. I think it's just really good. That's it.
Yeah, by itself it's probably not the best, but I think the synergy is with the class itself is really what pushes it over the top.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. And the next one, Spirit Jailer. It's another dual class, but a 1-mana, 1/3 demon. Battlecry, shuffle 2 soul fragments into your deck. This one, Crackwack and I each gave it a 4. Itachi gave it a 5. Yeah, seems solid. Also, 1-mana, 1/3s are pretty good.
Yeah, this is just good. You want to run your soul fragment cards, you throw this in. I gave it a 4 because it's going in all the soul fragment decks for sure. It's just good for your consistency, and it's not bad on turn 1. It's just really solid.
Yeah, I just gave it a 3. I feel like if you're running soul fragments, you'll run this card, but if you're not running soul fragments, you won't. There's just better 1-drops. So it's good for fragments, otherwise not as good.
Yeah, I gave this one a 3 as well. I think it's good. It has a good stat line for 1. 1/3s are always good for 1. It enables synergies. It does what you want it to do for its cost, and if you're playing cards that rely on soul fragments. But if you're not playing those synergies, then I think you're going to want to look elsewhere for 1-drops, like Christine said.
Yeah, you're definitely not playing this without soul fragments. But it's really good if you are.
All right. Go on to the next one here. Mage Hunter. It's a 3-mana, 2/3 rush. Whenever this attacks a minion, silence it. Let's see. This one, I'm not as sold on this one. I gave it a 3. Like, I think it's probably a tech card. Crackwack gave it a 4. He said he thinks it's pretty solid. Like, he probably just want to run this, and there's going to be often that you can just rush it into something that's going to get you value. Natachi gave it a 2.
I think I gave this a 1. I don't see you playing this in any decks, and the only deck it could go in, I think, is Tempo Demon Hunter, and then you're playing a 3-mana 2/3 with Rush instead of your good cards, and there's really not that many things you want to be rushing into. Like, the only high roll is Edwin. I can't even think of anything else that's that good. It's just so low stats for the cost. I don't think you can play this.
I feel like, you know how everyone has like a mechanic or card that they really want to be good and it never is? That's me with Silence. Like, I feel like Silence is so good, but it never is good. And I think what a lot of people were saying too is like, you have Consume Magic for 1 mana that draws a card, and that's not even run, right? Like, you just don't value Silence at all. So I don't think this will see much play.
Mm-hmm.
I gave this a 2 because I think there is a possibility it could see play at some point. The thing is, I wasn't entirely sure how it would work. Whenever this attacks a minion, silence it. I think the way it works is if you attack an Edwin, it becomes a 2/2, and you kill it, and you're left with a 2/1. And that, to me, sounds amazing. But that's kind of a fringe scenario.
That's the high roll scenario, right?
That's
Oh,
like
for
the
Like,
sure.
that's the
It
best
sounds
thing
amazing,
you
and I
can
should be
possibly
Edwin,
do.
and it should be Hall of Famed. So to me, that's one of my favorite things to see.
Yeah, this should not be called Mage Hunter. It should be called Edwin Hunter.
I agree.
Yeah, right. All right. Perfect. Next one, Star Student Stelina. 4 mana, 4/3. Outcast. Look at 3 cards in your opponent's hand. Shuffle one of them into their deck. This one, I think it might see some play, but I think it's going to be a tech card more than anything, really. So I gave it a 3. Crackwack just gave it a 2, and Itachi gave it a 3.
I can't see myself playing this. Like a 4-mana 4/3, it just by itself without the Outcast is obviously terrible. And even with the Outcast, I feel like it's not good. I don't think the Outcast does really anything. It's like a bad Madame Lazul. Like you don't get the card. You just like throw it into their deck. It's like really really slow. So I don't think you play this in any decks.
It's a really slow, unreliable combo killer. First of all, it's a legendary, so you can only play one. And then it has to be active because it's Outcast. And I think you're only going to want to play it if it's a combo heavy meta. And even then, hopefully, you can hit it. And then if they have a full hand of cards, you only look at 3 of them. So you might hit the combo piece. I think it's just bad. I don't think it's worth running.
Yeah, I think I'm changing it to a 1. I know a lot of people who come from a Magic the Gathering background are really excited because there was a whole deck based around hand destruction where you just take cards out of your opponent's hand. If this card was not Outcast, it shouldn't be Outcast. It should just be a battle cry. Outcast makes it terrible. It shouldn't go back in their deck. It should just be destroyed. And even then, I don't even know if we would play it. It's bad. Cool, but
Yeah, even
bad.
then, I don't think I would play it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just bad. I gave it a 1.
Okay. Let's go ahead and go to the next card. This is another dual class. So again, with the dual class, we're just discussing how it pertains to the class we're talking about. So 1 mana, copy the lowest cost demon in your hand. Outcast, give both +1/+1. This one, Crackwack and I really like this one. We each gave it a 5. Itachi gave it a 1. I'm thinking like, I don't know. I even see this being played in just like tempo Demon Hunter. You're playing this and you're getting extra. I don't know. You're just getting extra value. I feel like, and I don't know. I like it.
I think in Tempo Demon Hunter, you just want to play the 1-drop instead of copying it. I don't know. I feel like the only way I saw this maybe was in like a big big demon hunter. You just get an extra big dude. I don't think you can play this in the tempo demon hunter because you're not really looking for value. You're more just looking to curve out, and this doesn't curve out very well. Even if it's Outcast, I think you still just want to play your one drop.
I
So I give it a
completely
1
agree.
or a 2.
I agree
Not
with
give it.
that. That's why I gave it a 1. Like, if you saw this in your opening hand, you probably wouldn't want it. You'd rather just have your 1 drops. It's a little too slow.
Yeah, I gave this one a 1. I think with the design of this card, there's going to be future sets where they give Demon Hunter hand buff. Because why not? They have everything else. So then this card might be pretty good in Demon Hunter. We'll have to see. But as of right now, I don't think it's going to be very good.
Okay. Well, I think we're going to flip that and talk about a card that a lot of us rated pretty highly. And that is Glide, a 4-mana spell. Shuffle your hand into your deck, draw 4 cards. Outcast, your opponent does the same. I gave it a 4, and Crackwack and Itachi each gave it a 5. The only reason I'm not giving it a 5 is because I honestly do think that this is going to be a card that is not played in every single deck. I think there's going to be some circumstances, or depending on the meta, where you actually don't want to be playing this stuff. So, but overall, I think it's still pretty solid.
I gave it a 5. I think this builds its own archetype. You just play a super aggro demon hunter with this and the 2-drop neutral guy, the reader that like refills your hand, and just go like ultra aggro and keep drawing cards, and you could maybe run double jump to tutor this. It just seems insane. And also it's hand reload, and also just like absolutely demolishes your control opponent who has like 8 cards in hand or whatever, or even against combo. Like against Quest Warlock, oh my god, this is insane. It's so good against Quest Warlock. They just have 4 cards in their hand. Even if they have plot twists, they get like, oh my god, it's so good. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, this card seems pretty nuts. I think it's going to be played in nearly every Demon Hunter deck that we see. Anything that empties its hand really fast is going to be good for, because they get to refill. Any opponent that keeps a lot of cards is going to be good against. There's so much you can do with Glide that I think it just has an incredibly high potential.
I gave it a 5. I don't have much to add. The same thing. Card draw, insane. Hand disruption for your opponent is bonkers against certain decks. It's just so good.
One thing I did want to add about this card that I forgot to say, I don't think you can run this in a deck with Skull of Gul'dan, so it's not going into your typical tempo demon hunter, because this is really bad with Skull, because you can like never outcast it because you have all these higher cost cards, and getting it off Skull is really bad and like puts 4 cards in your hand. It's just bad with Skull, so they're definitely put in separate decks, but I still think it's going to be insane.
Do you think it's bad with Altruist? Because Skull and Altruist are like best buddies.
Yeah, I don't.
So if you're not running Skull, can you still run Altruist?
No, I don't think you run Altruist with this. Altruist is good because you get the cards discounted off Skull, and if you're not running Skull, I don't think it's worth.
I agree.
Well, it just depends on how low your curve is, really, right?
Mhm.
Because if you're running a really low curve, say you top out at Glide, you can run Altruist. I mean, I guess you top out at Altruist and Glide, but it could work. Because then you still have the neutral that makes you draw cards too, when your hand is empty.
Maybe. I think that's something I'd have to test and see how
Play
consistent
with,
it
yeah.
is. Yeah.
And so
Just good.
I think this is one card that also, like, hearing other people talk about it, and I think why I kind of rated it lower than everybody else, well, part of the reason, I guess, is looking at the second part of that, and a lot of people are so hyped about the fact that it disrupts your opponent, control, combo, all of that. Here's my hot take. I don't think combo decks are going to be as prevalent and all over the place as people are expecting. I think a lot of people are like, combo is going to be insane. There's so many things and there's so many combo disruption. I don't know. I don't see it. I think tempo, mid range, and just I mean things like Highlander Hunter. I think those are gonna be more prevalent, and those are just gonna destroy combo decks. So I feel like this makes it worse because you're not. I don't think you care as much about trying to disrupt what your opponent does. We've had things like that in the past, and it never ends up being as great as what people expect it to be.
Yeah, if the whole meta is aggro and mid range, then you want to play this, but you do not want to outcast it, right? You don't
Yeah.
want to give all your aggro and mid range opponents more cards because they're going to be on low cards too. So it could be slightly tough if you do not want to get the outcast.
But you can always manipulate it. Like if you know you're playing an aggro deck, try and cast Glide, not outcast. Like you can at least try. Like you have control over that more.
Yeah, you do, but it's not just as easy to do, I guess.
Yep.
I think it's still OP.
Absolutely.
All right, next card here, the Legendary. This is also another dual class, but again, we're just talking about how it relates to Demon Hunter right now. So, Ace Hunter Kreen, 3 mana, 2/4. Your other characters are immune while attacking. This one, I kind of fit in or scored it similar to the weapon earlier. I don't think this is as great as people say. I think it's a tech card at best. I think it's a 3. Krakowak gave it a 5. Itachi gave it a 4.
I got a 5 on this guy. I think he's insane. I think you play this in Tempo Demon Hunter. You trade into their guy on turn 2. Like you have a 2-drop, they have a 2-drop. Because the meta is probably going to be like aggro mid-range. So you play this, you free trade into their 2-drop. If they don't have like a removal spell or a rush minion or something of that nature, even if they do, it's going to take their whole like turn 3 or 4 to do that. But even if they don't have that, you just like win the game. How do you lose? They can't ever play minions again. You just keep trading all your stuff in for free. And if it's a board-centric deck, they literally can never get back on board ever. It just seems so good. So yeah, I give it a 5.
I had it at a 4, but I changed it to a 5 because of that reason specifically. If you drop this on 3 and you already have some kind of board presence in a board-centric match, I think you don't lose unless your opponent has some kind of hard removal. I mean, I don't see how you can lose unless your opponent has hard removal or can rush something in to kill it. Because if they keep dropping minions that can't attack the turn they're played, and you just keep building a bigger and bigger board, trading down everything they have, and then sending the rest of the damage face, there's no way they turn that corner. No way.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so torn. I think what you're saying, right? Like 2 aggro decks against each other, the first 4 turns are so important, right? Whoever gets bored usually wins. But say you went second and you did not have the board turn 3, right? Like say they had the board turn 2. Are you going to drop a 2/4 for 3? You have to be ahead for this to work. And then if you play against a mage or a priest or a control deck, it's a dead card. I almost want to give it a 3.
I mean, it's not that dead against control. It's not like control decks don't play minions. You can still free trade over their minions. It's not that bad. Like if they play like a Shield of Galakron on turn 5 and you just free trade into it, like that's not that bad.
Even if they drop a Astromancer Solarian on 2 and then you drop a Ace Hunter on 3 and trade it off, you still have a 2/4 and they have nothing.
And also with the weapon, like I said earlier, oh my god, it's so insane. You just free trade into all their minions and still go face with everything.
I think it's situational. I don't think it's. I think it's gonna feel bad in a lot of situations.
A lot of people seem to think that too, but we'll see. A lot of
Yeah.
people I've been talking to think that it's not that great, but I think they're all wrong.
Yeah, this definitely fits into that, like, I can't wait to see it in action because, yeah, it does seem to have kind of those opinions of either this is totally bonkers or it's going to be okay sometimes. And it's like, I don't feel like there's a lot of in between. So I really am excited to see how it works out. I think this is going to be one that we're probably going to see a lot the first like few days as people are like, I want to try this. This is nuts. So we'll see how it goes.
I'm crafting this golden day one, just saying.
I'm not
I'm
surprised.
really not sure there's going to be a matchup where there really isn't in between. I think either you're going to drop it and you're going to win on the spot, or it's just not going to perform. And I think that's going to be every matchup.
It's gonna stay in your hand. If like the only thing I can compare it to is the thing that ignores taunt, which is very situational, but at least that has charge. This has nothing. If it had rush, maybe.
We'll see. I think we got to try him out and see how he plays and what the meta's like.
I mean, I want it to be good. I opened this.
Oh my gosh. I haven't opened my packs yet. I'll do it on Thursday.
Get on it.
All right. Let's go ahead. This is the last card for Demon Hunter. A spell, Cycle of Hatred, 7 mana, deal 3 damage to all minions, summon a 3/3 spirit for every minion killed. This one, yeah, it doesn't seem like many of us liked it. I gave it a 1. Crackwack and Itachi both gave it a 2. It seems so late. Like, it costs so much, and I don't know. Like, if they have more than 3 health, then they're not dying, and yeah, it just doesn't seem very great.
Yeah, this is just bad. It costs so much and does like nothing against boards. 3 damage on turn 7 is so irrelevant. Probably kills like one thing. Yeah, it's just awful. I gave it a 1.
I was going to give it a 1, but then I read the flavor text. If you run 2 of these, would that make it the Bicycle of Hatred? So then I gave it a 2.
Okay, I'm putting it as a 5.
Is there a 6th? I also gave it a 1. Off to Druid.
Yeah.
All right.
Uh,
Perfect. Okay, well, let's go ahead and get into Druid then. So the first card is a 1 mana partner assignment. Add a random 2 cost and 3 cost beast to your hand. Let's see. This one. It seems like Cragwag and I like this a bit more than everybody else. We each gave it a 4. Itachi gave it a 3. I don't know. I tend to play a little bit more like aggro and mid-range and tempo style decks, I guess. I like the value. You get stuff with it. I like it. I don't know. It's probably not going to be as good, but I like it.
Yeah, I give this a 1. I don't really know why people are rating it higher than a 1. I don't see how you can play this in any deck. Like, you play this on 1, then you play like a bad beast on 2, and like a bad beast on 3 probably, because they're random. Why would I not just play like good cards? I don't understand.
Well, I gave it a 2 because people play that other 1 cost card that gets you a legendary, and this one gets you beasts, and people are going to try to play beasts.
Yeah, but that one you pick is discovered. This is
I
completely.
didn't say the reasoning was good. I was just telling you what it was.
I think the only thing I find interesting is between this card, Mount Seller, and then Teacher's Pet coming up. Druid could play way more Zixors than Hunter can, because they always get Zixor off the Mount Seller. I think the power level is decent on this card. I just don't think it has a home. I just don't know where it would go. Not spell. Most of the Beast Druids are going to be more like in big and ramp. They don't care about the first few turns. Yeah, I just don't know where it would go.
Yeah, that's a good point. And maybe if it does see play, it's in some other deck that's not a thing yet. All right, let's go to the next one. All right, this one, Gibberling, 1 mana, 1/1, spell burst, summon a Gibberling. All right, we're all over the place with this one. This one, I rated a 2. Crackwack gave a 1. Itachi gave it a 3. I don't know. I know that in, like, the testing stuff, people have found some crazy, like, combo thing to, like, get this off on, like, the first turn and create some crazy board. I don't know. To me, it feels too memey to me. I think there's just too many things in the meta that can already destroy it, and if you don't get the exact combo stuff, like, you might get 2 1/1s. Like, hey, cool.
So this is 1 mana Violet Teacher is what it is technically, because every time you play a spell you get a 1/1. So I think in token Druid decks you could actually play this and it's pretty good. Like early game with like Lightning Bloom, oh my gosh, you could do like some crazy stuff like this. Lightning Bloom. If you have coin, you play like a 1-cost spell, then you power the wild, and on turn 1 you have like 3 3/3s and a 2/2. That seems pretty good.
Don't forget horrible infestations.
Yeah, that too. That's cheap and can help with this. I think only in Token Druid you'd play this, and I don't know if Token Druid's good, but I gave it a 3 because I think there's definitely potential.
I gave it a 4 because I didn't think it was going to be that good, but I gave it a 4 because I saw a screenshot of a board full of 2 and 3, 2/2 and 3/3 Gibberlings on a turn 1, and I thought, that's cool. This deserves a 4.
I also gave it a 4 because I believe in the power. And also, when you're talking about the combo pieces, all those combo pieces also are going to go in the new combo-y Spell Druid, right? The Gift of the Wild, the 2 mana overload thing. This could be another win con. Like, you could have this first turn. If it doesn't go off, okay, go into your Overgrowth and start getting to whatever, your Mount Cellar or whatever is going to be big.
All right. I don't know. I still don't see the appeal of a board of 1/1s.
Dr. Foosh says it's a 5 and I hate it.
2.
No, I think he's talking about Lightning Bloom.
Oh, Lightning Bloom. Gosh, I was hoping it was Gibberling.
I like that they brought back the feral Gibberer.
Yes.
Just saying. And he's eating a cage. Nice.
I mean, the flavor text is pretty good too, right? As a linguistics student, I have studied the Gibberlings. I have determined they are speaking gibberish. It's pretty good.
I should go on this website. I totally was not paying attention.
I mean, the flavor and the artwork and the flavor text, and I mean, everything about this set is just like amazing.
Yeah, it's nice.
All right. Next card here. Twilight Runner, 5 mana, 5/4 beast, stealth. Whenever this attacks, draw 2 cards. I like this one a lot. I gave it a 4. Crackwack gave it a 4. Itachi gave it a 4. Like, it seems pretty solid, and also in pretty much any Druid deck, like, draw is good.
Yeah, this thing off of the 7 mana, what's it called?
Guardian Animals.
Yeah, Guardian Animals. Oh my gosh. You get this of Guardian Animals? So ridiculous. That's literally the reason this card would be good. Is specifically Guardian Animals. So, and since Overgrowth's in the game, that's definitely reasonable. I think you can make a deck with this. And it's going to be really good. So I gave it a 4.
Even if you don't Overgrowth into Guardian Animals and you have to hard cast it on 5, you still get to draw 2 cards on 6, and I think that's reasonable.
I think Guardian Animals makes it a 4. I think it'd be a 3 without it. And I think if there's another big Druid or Embiggen Druid, it'd go in here nicely.
Okay. All right. The next one here, Teacher's Pet, a 5 mana 4/5 beast with taunt. Death Rattle, summon a random 3-cost minion. And let's see, for Druid, I gave this a 3. I think you might be running it in some decks. There might be a case for it. Crackwack gave it a 2. Itachi gave it a 4.
What did I give this? 2. Okay, yeah. I don't think this is that great. The only time I see this maybe is if you get it off of the Guardian Animals. But I think you just want to run Twilight Runners. But maybe you need more than just those, and this is the beast you run, so that's why I put it as a 2 and not a 1. Otherwise, I don't think you're going to be running this in any Druid decks.
Yeah, I don't think this card is very good. I also gave it a 2. It's just a slightly bigger piloted shredder in a time in Hearthstone's history where piloted shredder is just not good anymore.
I agree with all that. I'd say the only thing, I think it is anti-synergy with Guardian Animals, because I would not want to get it. Which makes me want to run it even less. Because most people want to get the other one, the one that, the Hydra, whatever, that hits 2 things, or 3 things.
Yeah.
So I think it's anti-synergy with Guardian.
I think it's fine if you're playing this in like a Guardian deck and there's maybe some more aggro in the meta. Because this also is a taunt. And then the Death Rattle like puts another thing on the board, so you have some board presence. So I think that's why I gave it the 3. It's like if you're playing that, but it's maybe more teched depending on the meta as well.
Yeah, we'll see. People play bad cards. Bone Chewer Brawler is in decks, people. That is not a good card. There just isn't enough to run that you run that card. That card just goes in decks because you don't have other good 2-drops. It's not a good 2-drop.
Bad cards are probably some of my favorite cards.
I mean, you like Ancient Voidhound, so we'll see.
You're not wrong.
It's a cool card.
Okay. Next one, which we just kind of talked about, but Guardian Animals. Another dual class, but 7 mana. Summon 2 beasts that cost 5 or less from your deck. Give them Rush. Let's see. Yeah, this one seems pretty solid. I think there's going to be... You probably build your deck around it. But myself, Crackwack, and Itachi all gave it a 4.
Yeah, I think we were 4s across the board on this one.
Yeah.
You're going to want to run targeted beast synergy with this, basically. Any minions that you're running that are less than 5 that you don't want to be hit by this are just not going to have a beast tag. Only run the ones that you want to be hit by Guardian Animals.
Yeah, this seems...
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, this seems bad unless we're in a world with overgrowth, which we are, so it's good. I don't think this would be any good if we didn't have overgrowth.
I gave it a 4, and I almost want to give it a 5, but I'm also biased because I watched some of the what do you want to call it, influencers play with it, and it was, the things it was doing is bonkers. Like, the whole combo deck looks insane. But that's in a bubble, of course, and I'm trying not to let that affect me. So I'm just going to give it a 4, but I think it is broken.
Yeah, I saw Fino playing this. It was ridiculous.
Fino insisted it was going to be nerfed like day 1.
Mm-hmm. I think overgrowth should be nerfed. And then this card isn't as good.
Probably a lot of cards that aren't quite as good. If that happens.
Yeah, let's just ditch. How about we just delete overgrowth from the game and I'll be happy.
So we'll delete Druid.
Well, I don't know why they printed overgrowth after they nerfed all their ramp. That seemed like a great idea. But that's another discussion. I could go on and on about how much I love Druid, but we're doing a card review right now, so.
All right. Well, next card here, I think we're going to have some differing opinions on this. Survival of the Fittest, a 10 mana spell. Give +4/+4 to all minions in your hand, deck, and battlefield. Yeah, let's see, this one. Okay, I think I'm the differing opinion, I guess. I don't like this card. I gave it a 1. Crackback gave it a 2. Itachi gave it a 3. I don't know. To me, it feels too slow. If you're really wanting to get more value out of it, you're running bigger stuff. I don't know. I don't like it. What's the other? Is it Gift of the Wild? Is that the one?
Mm-hmm.
That like buffs and gives you like nobody's even playing that. So why would we be playing this? I don't know. I don't like it.
Okay, I will say the first time I saw this, I had it at a 1, and then after that, I started thinking about it. And this thing with Kael'thas is actually so broken. If you hit this with Kael'thas, +4/+4 is a lot of stats. This with Kael'thas is ridiculous. And again, because Overgrowth exists, I think you could actually maybe play this. So I put it as a 3. I think it's either going to be insane or it's not going to see any play. But I think it could see play. Kael'thas is inherently a broken card. They didn't really nerf it. They changed its mana by 1, which sure made it worse in that deck, but the actual effect is inherently, like, stupid. So it's probably good.
Yeah, I think it's a 3 as well. It can be very, very powerful in the right build, especially, like you said, if you're mana cheating this and playing it for 0 mana, or if you're playing it super early with a bunch of ramp. Buffing all of your minions, basically, because what was Embiggen? That was +2/+2, right? So if 2 Embiggen's worth, and you're not paying the extra mana to play the minions. So that's pretty good. And we saw how powerful the Embiggen deck was for a little while there. Now, if you take that deck with some slight modifications, you're not spending all the extra mana on the minions. You invest it up front in the survival of the fittest, then maybe it shifts the power range a little bit of that deck. Maybe it makes it a little bit stronger. We'll have to see how that works out. Or maybe you still run the Embiggens and now you have +8/+8. Who knows?
I ended up giving it a 4, and I feel like it's a lot of what I was saying with the Guardian Animals, because it goes in that deck. It goes in the Kael'thas build, and I think Kael'thas, even though it was nerfed 1 mana, the Lightning Bloom kind of undid all of that. I think the Bloom has really opened this up to be much more viable than it was before, and that it buffs the board is kind of insane. Like, that turn, you could win the game. I think it's a 4 if the Guardian Animals deck is good.
Yeah, I agree with what you said there. The Lightning Bloom literally unnerves Kael'thas. It was so stupid at 6 mana and Lightning Bloom. Oh my god, why did they do this? I'm not going to enjoy playing against Druids.
Cool. I'm just going to keep playing Highlander Hunter and Fast decks and beat y'all before you even get to that point. Or before you even get Kael'thas down. Just saying.
Fun.
Play the Dino. You play Dino on 7, you win the game. It's okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, and if you hit the ramp combo, I mean, no one's winning that game except for the Druid anyways, so I don't know.
Yeah. Just draw
I mean,
Overgrowth.
you play Kael'thas on 3, right? After 2 Lightning Blooms, and then you just play that spell for free?
Well, yeah. I mean,
kill him by then?
Nobody beats you if they are doing that.
If you hit the nuts.
Yeah.
That'd be a fun turn.
I live in magical Christmas land all day, every day. Let's go.
I love Kael'thas. Wait, what turn can you do that on? 3?
Yeah, that's turn 3.
Yeah, I love turn 3 Kael'thas into Survival of the Fittest. That seems really fun and interactive. Oh.
2 with the coin. Wait, no, can you do it with the coin? No, because I think you burn one of your. I think you burn your free spell because you have to play coin. Lightning Bloom. Doesn't work.
I mean, you'll be out of cards, so you won't.
Then you played one of your free spells for free.
Yeah, no, you play with the one that draws a lot of cards, and then you keep going.
You go.
Yeah, there you go.
You go Lightning Bloom, Kael'thas, this, Innervate, Coin Overflow. That seems fun. All right, let's move on.
All right. Next one here, the legendary minion, Forest Warden Omu. 6 mana, 5/4. Spell Burst, refresh your mana crystals. Yeah, so this one, We all scored fairly decently. I gave it a 5. Crackwack liked it so much, he was like, screw the rating system, I'm giving it a 6. And Itachi gave it a 3. Seems good. Mana. What was the card we used to have that rotated wild? Oh, why do I forget his name?
The twig thing?
Well, we had the twig, and then what was the minion?
Coon?
Yeah. Yeah, that was played. I mean, refreshing your mana crystals and getting to like cheat out a bunch more stuff is pretty good.
Okay, so I first had this at a 1, I'm not gonna lie. Because I couldn't think of what you do with it. It just seemed kind of bad. But then I heard people talking that you go this plus germination. So you played this, you played germination, you get 10 mana right away, and then you summon a copy of Omu, and the spell burst effect hasn't gone off. So you can play Malagos, and then you play one spell and you have 10 mana again, and then you just kill them. I'm like, okay, that seems fun. That doesn't actually seem that hard. But there's a lot of combo disruption, so maybe you can't actually feasibly do that, and then this card is just like a 1. But if you could do that, I don't even know.
This card is a 5 all day, especially in Wild. I cannot wait to play this card in Wild. It's going to be bonkers.
Oh yeah.
Especially with Aviana and Coon. Oh my god. And Ysael. Oh my god.
This in Wild is just stupid. Stupid good.
It's going to give people nightmares.
Like, I ended up giving it a 4. I mean, the Malagos combo I heard people talking about is nuts. And also, like, Bog Beam and Ironbark, it's so easy to activate it, right? It's just such a huge mana cheat. Even if you're not even running combo, even if you're running Big Druid, it's a pretty big mana cheat.
Well, you have to spend 6 mana on this, I guess. On turn 10, you get 4 extra mana, right? If you play a 0-cost spell. Because you pay 6 for this, and then you play a 0-mana spell. So you technically got 4 extra?
Well, or you play this on 10 and then play a 4-cost spell. And then you get 10 mana again.
And then you get 10, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you see this early, do you ever just hold on to the coin if you go second? I mean, do you play this on turn 6 and then coin?
Probably depends on the matchup and how your deck's built, but I could see that sometimes. I don't even think you need to go for like the giant plays with some of these. I feel like a lot of this set, there are things that you can kind of just play on curve or play for what might seem like small value, but you're actually going to end up getting a lot. Like, I think there's a lot of cards like that. I think this is one of them.
Yeah, I can see that being a huge swing turn. If you have the coin in hand and you play this on 6 and then you coin, now you have another 7 mana to expend that turn. If you have the resources to use it, then you're going to be set up for a pretty good turn.
I mean, even Spell Druid with things like Nourish, there was already stuff like this before, kind of. You could do some pretty nutty things even in what did I say, Quest Druid?
Well, this on 6 with coin isn't that good, right? It's just like an Anubis Defender. You just get a 5/4 for free, and then you get your turn.
And
it doesn't give you the full mana if you're on turn 6. You just get 6 again, right? It doesn't
You get to play 2 6-drops? And if you Lightning Bloom, then you have 8 mana?
I guess that depends. Does it count the coin mana? So would it give you the 7? Because then you could play
the refresh your mana crystals, right? So it would give you your 6 back, and the coin would be 7. I mean, that's how I would interpret it.
I think it would give you 7, but it doesn't seem that good on 6. I feel like you only play this on a combo. Like if you're playing on 6 for just the 5/4 body and to get your mana back, why aren't you just playing like Mount Seller?
Well, then you do this, and then the animal. What was it called?
I mean, that might be your answer to aggro, though, right? I mean, if you're a combo deck,
Guardian Animals.
and you can't make it to the end game without doing that. Sometimes that might just have to be your answer every now and again.
Maybe. Uh, this card's it's a cool card. Yeah.
I think my point is just that it's flexible. You can do a lot with it. You don't have to just hold it for a combo turn.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah.
All right. The next one, another legendary, Speaker Ghidra, 3 mana, 1/4, Rush, Wind Fury, Spell Burst, gain attack and health equal to the spell's cost. Let's see, this one for Druid, we all rated it fairly decently. I gave it a 4, Crackwack gave it a 5, Tachi gave it a 3. I think it's pretty solid. I mean, this kind of reminds me of, oh shoot, what was the that 5 mana like choose one rush thing that Questure had played?
Surgery?
Yeah, I feel like you could do this. You could, but it also seems good if there's aggro too. Like you can play this somewhat early, play some removal spell, and then be able to rush and kill off a couple more things. I liked it. It seems good.
Why does this cost 3 mana? I don't understand. It does so much. Why does it rush Wind Fury and cost 3 mana? It makes no sense. It's just insanely overstated. This with like a 3-cost spell is just by it already ridiculous. This with anything higher is completely insane. I put this as a 5. I think this is in every single Druid deck forever until it rotates. This is just stupidly good. Especially with Overgrowth. Like, you can ramp, and then this is just ridiculous.
Yeah, I gave this one a 4. And I don't think it's a true 3-drop. You're never going to play this on 3. You're definitely going to play this along with something else. Because you're going to want to get that spell burst off the turn you play it. Because do you ever rush with a 1/4? I don't think so. There's probably very few targets that you're going to rush into with a 1/4. Unless you just absolutely need to clear a couple Divine Shields.
Or lackeys, or you're double trading into a single minion that has 2 health.
I kind of agree with Bitbaker. I just don't think it'll stick on turn 3. Like, yeah, you can kill 2 things, like small things, but I don't think it'll stick to get a crazy good effect. People are talking about it with Germination, which would be pretty crazy. That Germination makes it crazy. It's another one. I don't know, where would you put it? Because this isn't going to go in combo Druid. Is this going to go in Embiggen Druid?
Every Druid.
You would put this in combo.
Yes.
It wouldn't go on a Fungal Fortune stack, that's for sure.
Okay, sure. Not Spell Druid, because the deck literally plays like 2 minions.
So then you would put
You
it
don't
in
play this on turn
Big
3.
Druid?
You never play this on turn 3, ever. Yeah, I'd play this in Big Druid for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think you play it,
Turn 7?
Hmm?
What turn though? Like turn 7?
Turn 6, turn 7. I mean, this on
I
turn
think
10
starting
is like
anywhere from 5
insane
on.
already. Yeah. Even on, turn 5. This is not that bad on turn 5. 5 mana, so you get the 2 mana, you do your spell for 2 mana with this on board, and you get a 3/6 with Rush and Wind Fury, so you just kill 2 of their things. Like against Demon Hunter, this kills both their things right away.
So
Against Hunter, this probably kills 2 of their things.
So a turn 5, 3/6.
With Rush and Wind Fury.
Rush and Wind Fury. So like, how would you compare that to Tiamat?
That's
Because it's 7
worth...
mana, 6/6.
Okay, well, this is way better than Tiamat, because Tiamat can only come out in turn 7. If you play this on turn 7 with a 4-cost spell, it's just infinitely better.
It doesn't need a spell. I don't know. I just don't see it.
Oh yeah, if this came down on 7 with a 4-cost spell, way better than Tiamat.
Yeah, it's a 5/8 with Rush and Wind Fury. Yeah. It's Tiamat that can come down earlier if you need it. And later in the game, it's a huge threat, too. I think it's just good at like pretty much all stages of the game, except for turn 3. It's meh. You wouldn't play this.
Okay.
The thing is, with the way this gains attack and health based on the spell's cost, that's the big thing. If it was just attack or whatever, it would. If it was just it'll be more durable with that health, and I think that's what really makes the difference in play for this card, being that it's attack and health. So the later you play it, the bigger it's going to be, obviously, with the larger card. But I think we just need to... Turn 5 is probably the earliest we're going to want to play it, unless we're in a super aggro matchup.
Yep, good in the early game, and it's a threat in the late game.
Okay. Let's go ahead and go to the next one here. Runic Carvings. 6 mana, choose one, summon 4/2/2 Treant Totems, or overload 2 to summon them with Rush. Let's see. This one... I don't know. It looks like a lot of us aren't really sold on it. I gave it a 2. Crackwack gave it a 2. Itachi gave it a 1. I don't know. I feel like if you're trying to go wide on board, then, or like get some stuff out, you're probably playing some of the other cards that we've already kind of talked about, and you're ramping into something else and then putting things on the board and not 2/2s.
Yeah, why am I playing this instead of Glowfly Swarm? Makes no sense. But maybe with the Treant
because you're
synergy.
playing minions.
Yes. If you're playing minions, this is... So the Treant Druid actually played like one copy of Forest's Aid, which was, I think it was 5 2/2s on 8 mana. I think it's 5.
Yeah.
And this gives 4 for 6. It's pretty similar. I don't think you ever take the Rush unless you're like super, super behind. Like overloading 2 for Rush is pretty terrible. It makes it sort of flexible if you're like super behind and you need the Rush, but I don't think it's happening. It seems kind of iffy. I give it a 2.
Yeah, I think the only time you ever rush with this is if you're super behind and you're going to die soon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I gave it a 2 as well. I was going to give it a 1, but again, I upped my score slightly because of the flavor text. Dragon Rider. Is it open? Would you like to read it?
Sure. It says, "That totem was beautiful, and you ruined it."
Oh,
Yeah, it's fantastic.
wow, they're hitting these spot on.
Yeah.
I ended up also giving it a 2, and I think it's Fringe because I think the only place it does go and is maybe Treants, which isn't a good deck, and it didn't get any support really from the new cards, so it won't be good, but people love Treants. So people will try and find a way.
I think the worst part, though, is that even though they're named Treant Totems, the actual card is classified as a totem, so like it doesn't get any of the Treant synergies. It would just be some bodies.
Oh wow, that makes
Yeah.
No, it
Even
gets
worse.
Treant synergies.
Does it
it.
too?
Does it?
All Treant, no Treants have like minion types. If you look at the bottom, none of them say Treants. They're just classified internally as Treants. So this counts as a Treant.
Oh, okay. Okay, well then, all right.
Okay, back to a 2. It almost went to a 1.
Sorry.
I gotta say the art is real nice. Very nice.
It is. All right. Let's go to the next one here. Adorable Infestation. 1 mana, give a minion +1/+1, summon a 1/1 cub, add a cub to your hand. This one, I don't know. I don't see it. I gave it a 1. Crackwack gave it a 2. Itachi gave it a 3. I don't think you want to play it.
I gave it a 3. It does all the things. It buffs, it summons a minion, and it generates a card for 1 mana.
Cool. So you're playing like a token deck? Because you're not putting this in like the bigger
you're definitely
druids.
gonna
That's
you're definitely
Gibberlings.
gonna want to be on some kind of aggressive strategy, like playing Gibberlings or something. But you have to be on an aggressive strategy, but the fact that this does 3 things for 1 mana, buffing a minion, adding a minion to the board, adding a minion to your hand, is, I mean, what more could you ask for?
More stats.
Let's be reasonable.
I mean, you asked what could you ask for? Like, that's what I would ask for.
For it to be good.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's okay in Token Druid, but
Yeah.
you don't want to play on turn 1, obviously, and that deters me from wanting it. It's okay. I give it 2.
I put a 1. I saw Gibberling synergy. Some people were saying Face Hunter, but it's a bad Spring Ball, because at least Spring Ball had Rush and had removal, where this does not.
Yeah.
What are those blue things it's holding?
Oops.
Cubs.
They're adorable.
Those
Obviously.
are the Marsuls.
Oh yeah.
I'll take 10.
I'll take 10.
Yeah, they look nice. I'll take some.
They are adorable, for sure. All right, let's go ahead and go to the next one here. Groundskeeper, 4 mana, 4/5 taunt. Battlecry, if you're holding a spell that costs 5 or more, restore 5 health. This one for Druid, I think it's a 3. I can see it being teched in. If you're running like the heavier spells and you want the healing. Crackwack gave it a 2, and Itachi gave it a 3.
Seems okay. But as a 3 for a tech card, if the meta's aggro, this is pretty solid. In Quest Druid, I think you really like this because you're already running Nourish, Hidden Oasis, and what's the other thing? Starfall. So it's not bad there, but I don't know if Quest Druid will be any good. I'll have to try that. I think, yeah, it's just really meta dependent. It could be good, could be bad. Just depends on what people are playing.
I gave this one a 1. I don't think it's going to see any play in Druid. We've seen a lot of this restore health kind of stuff in Druid before, and none of it's really stuck. This one has taunt, which is pretty cool. There might be a lot of stuff that we see that costs 5 or more, but I don't think that this card is going to be slotted into those decks because I think those lists are going to be too tight for this to fit.
I almost want to give it a 1. It ended up getting a 2. I put Quest Druid, ? But Hidden Oasis is like just way better. Like way better. And then also if you think about it, think about Crystal Power. Crystal Power is 1 mana, heal 5, or deal 2 damage. It's like it does so much more at 1 mana. And yeah, it doesn't give you a body, but I don't know. I just can't see where it would go.
If you didn't have taunt, it would be trash, but it has taunt, so it's really good against aggro. You heal 5 and you put a nice taunt body in. I think it's pretty decent.
You have Ironbark. Everything has taunt.
Maybe you just want to overgrowth on 4. Fine.
Yeah, that's another thing with this card. It's on 4. It's competing with your overgrowth slot. So, I mean, really, what do you want to run? Do you want to run this, or do you want to run overgrowth?
Oh, right. I'm putting it to a 2, not a 3. Yeah. Overgrowth ruins all the fun. Stupid card.
Well, talking about potentially stupid cards, let's go ahead and move to this next one. Lightning Bloom. 0 mana. Gain 2 mana crystals this turn only. Overload 2. Yeah, this one I gave a 4. Crackwack gave it a 2 for Druid. Oh man. I don't know if I took notes on why he said that. I think he said that he doesn't like the overload being in there for Druid. Because it's like you're getting the 2 mana this turn, but then you're just overloaded for that 2 next turn, and it's like, well, it feels like it defeats the purpose a little bit of what Druid wants to be doing. And then Itachi gave it a 5.
Hate this card. Don't know why they printed this. makes all the broken cards broken again, like Kael'thas and all your ramp. You can hit early overgrowths. This with Mount Cellar allows you to do like twice as much in a turn. It's just the overload doesn't even really matter. Like in most situations, in Hearthstone, you play for swing turns, and this gives you a swing turn. Trust me. We all know it's going to be insane. I can see across the board pretty much we got high ratings. I got a 5 on this one. Don't like that this was printed at all.
This card's getting hit in the first balance patch, and that's why I gave it a 5.
Yeah, it's a 5. It's bonkers. It enables so much ridiculous stuff. They already run Innervate. This is better. Yeah, you're overloaded, but you just hit a power spike in one turn, so you don't need all your mana for the next. And like
Yeah,
a fun side note is anyone who plays Magic the Gathering, the most expensive card in the game is 0 mana for 0 for 3 mana. And it's worth like $2,000. But this shows you how busted
oh,
this card
you're
is.
lowballing there.
Yeah.
You know, like an alpha. Well, no, like a revised bad condition. But no, yeah, it's bonkers.
Why did they think this was a good idea? That's like my main question. I don't understand why you thought this was a good idea, Blizzard.
I don't know, because for some reason they thought if they brought back unnerfed Innervate and just threw Overload on it, it'd be okay. I
Apparently.
think they're wrong.
They're very wrong.
It might be like Demon Hunter of this expansion where they know it's busted, but they want people to come back and just play with the busted cards and then they'll nerf it.
This could make a lot more people frustrated than happy.
So just like Demon Hunter.
It's like they nerf all the classic cards. They nerf Innervate, they nerf Wild Growth, they nerf Nourish. Then they print this, they print Overgrowth. What's the point?
The point is these ones rotate eventually.
Yeah.
Neji's given up on life over Druid. What's the point?
Literally, what's the point? I queue into a Druid, I just like cry. It's just, oh my god.
Turn emo.
It's like, do they have Overgrowth? Yes. Oh, I lost. They have Overgrowth? No. Oh, their deck's useless. Nice.
Just put on black clothes and turn on emo on your stream when you play against a Druid.
No, but seriously, if you see on turn 4 your opponent doesn't Overgrowth, there's the feeling of jubilation is like I can't even explain. I'm sure you all have felt this at some point.
All right. Whoop. Okay. Well, I clicked on the wrong thing here. Well, let me skip ahead. Where were we at? Okay. All right. Next card. Nature Studies. 1 mana. Discover a spell. Your next one costs 1 less. Yeah, this one I like a lot of the studies myself. Most of them, I'll say. But I gave this one a 5. I think it's pretty solid. There's other kind of similar cards that we've played, and this one's even better. So, yeah, it seems good. Karakwak gave it a 4. Itachi gave it a 5.
Why did they print this? I actually think this is better than Lightning Bloom. I genuinely do. This card allows you to play Overgrowth on turn 3. This card allows you to get like insane chains with Mount Cellar, more than even Lightning Bloom does. It's just this card 100% is getting nerfed. If they don't nerf Overgrowth, this card's getting nerfed 100%. This is so stupid, allowing you to ramp earlier. The only thing in all those matchups where they Overgrowth on 4 is like get as much as you can on board and try and pressure them down before they can get past their Overgrowth into their turn 7. Now they can play this. They Overgrowth on 3, and then they put the dragon right after on 6. Like, what? Why did you print this? This is so stupid. I genuinely don't understand. So ridiculous. I give this a 5 for sure. If there were 6s, I'd give it a 6. I think this is like top 3 cards in the set. Maybe it might even be the best card.
I gave this a 5, and I kind of wish, after hearing Neji talk about it, that it could generate lightning blooms that produce an extra mana. since it can't make them cost one less.
Oh my
Just
god.
the tilt factor.
Yeah, I'd love that.
I also gave it a 5. It's by far the best studies. And then on top of that, I don't even want to say this because Neji might get mad at me. It could find more ramp, which is so crazy. Like
Hate to
breath
say it.
or what's the 3-mana ramp that no one runs?
Wild growth.
I can't remember. Nobody runs it.
It can run. It can find more ramp.
Nice. Love it. I'm gonna get you Sarah on like turn 3. This is great. Peak Hearthstone. Ugh. Druid's gonna be. I can't think of something that's gonna be better than Druid. Maybe Rogue. We'll see.
Not Paladin.
Maybe Demon Hunter smorks it. Oh wait, you ramp on turn 3. Nice. Okay. Well.
All right. Let's go ahead and move into should be the last card for Druid, and we are all over the place with our ratings on this one. This is Shandu Wildclaw, 3 mana, 3/3. Choose one, give beasts in your deck +1/+1, or transform into a copy of a friendly beast. So this one, Crackwack and I really like this one. I think we're looking at it more as being kind of used in the more, I guess, a beast type build, like we were talking about with some of those cards earlier, like the Twilight Runner, Guardian Animals, all of that. So each of us gave it a 4. Itachi gave it a 3. I don't know. I like it. I think you can use this for some different situations, but I think it's cool. I like it a lot.
I give this one a 1. I can't see a situation where I'd really, besides like copying a Twilight Runner, I can't think of a situation that I would play this, and it doesn't seem consistent enough. I feel like most times it's just going to be a 3 mana 3/3 that you don't get any effect off of, and you're really sad. I don't think you run a, because if you're running the what is it called, Guardian Animals, if you run that, you're not running that many beasts. You're running only the good beasts, like the Twilight Runners and like maybe 2 others. That means there's 4 things in your entire deck that you can target for this to copy. I mean, the buff is definitely, you're never picking the buff. So, yeah, I don't think I'm playing this. I got a 1 on it.
I gave this card a 2 for fringe play. I think people are going to run it in the same deck as partner assignment. It's not going to buff the beasts that come off partner assignment, so it's a really stupid idea. But I think they're going to be trying to make a beast deck work, and it's not going to. But they'll try, so, kudos to them.
I agree. I think someone will make a beast and biggin deck. I think it'll happen. There's not a lot of beasts, but you have Wing Guardian, which is just bonkers on its own. So I gave it a 2 for fringe.
I always forget that card is a beast.
Yeah, this one, Wing
Bonkers.
Guardian's pretty good. But why don't you just play?
But didn't some
Other
of the
things.
beast stuff rotate? Wasn't there like a beast card? It was like summon a beast from your graveyard or something like that.
Yeah, that's gone.
Yeah.
So yeah, so a lot of the beast energy ended up rotating, so I just don't know if beasts are good enough, but I think someone will make it. Oh, copy all the Zigzaurs you get. It's gonna buff all the Zigzor primes that somehow you get as a druid.
I think it's just a 3 mana 3/3 like 90% of the time. I don't think you can run it.
That's
Well,
fair.
Christine likes Hunter, so
Yes. All right. So the first one here, Wolpertinger. Oh my gosh, what a name. 1 mana, 1/1 beast, battle cry, summon a copy of this. I don't like it. I gave it a 1. Crackwack gave it a 1. Itachi gave it a 2. Bitbeaker gave it a 2. It doesn't seem that great.
it's Alley Cat. That's all I got. And on Scavenger's Ingenuity, I guess is buffed, but you probably just want to grab your Zixor with Scavengers, so I don't even know why I have it as a 2, honestly. I'll leave it there, but
I think it's a 1, but I put it as a 2 because it might see fringe play of someone making a beast deck. I don't know. It's just you'd rather play the new demon companion. You'd rather play sharpshooter. I'd probably even want battle mage over this. It's just not good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cute though.
Yeah. I like the art.
Good little wings. All right.
Looks evil.
Yeah, a little bit.
Wouldn't want to get bit by that thing. Jeez, what the heck?
All right. Next one here. Carrion Studies. 1 mana. Discover a Death Rattle minion. Your next one costs 1 less. This one I think might see play. I gave it a 2, so I'm saying fringe. I think it might see play if there's like a Death Rattle Hunter, or I don't know. I mean, maybe like in another class you discover this and it's cool. I don't know. I'm not sold on it. Krakowak gave it a 4. He thinks that there's enough to make it work, and you're getting to do something else with it, but I don't know. I want to see it work, but I don't see it working. And then Itachi gave it a 1, and Bitbeaker gave it a 2.
Death Rattle minions suck. That's all I got. The Death Rattle pool, go through it. Everyone, you'll come back. You'll put this as a 1. We'll be good to go. They're really bad. I got this as a 1.
Same one. Very bad death rattles. It's not very good tempo. I think Hunter's identity is tempo and not random discoveries, and that's why I like it a lot right now in this meta. Yeah, there's so many bad death rattles.
I think part of maybe why I gave it the 2 over the 1 is also because I miss the days of like Death Rattle Hunter, like Katarina Hunter, Cube Hunter, all of that. Like, I loved Cube Hunter. I miss it, and I want it to be a thing, but I don't see it being a thing. Or
Cube
mechs,
Hunter
even.
was
Like,
so
there was
good.
some pretty cool Death Rattle mechs for Hunter.
Mech Hunter was my first ever deck, so I have
Spider
a lot
Bomb
of
was cool.
nostalgia.
I love Spider Bomb. Yeah, I loved Egg and Death Rattle Cube Hunter. It was probably one of my 3 favorite decks ever. So I wish it was still too.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry about that. They like to bark at the worst times. All right. Next card here, Overwhelm. 1 mana, deal 2 damage to a minion, deal 1 more damage for each beast you control. This one, I gave a 3. I think it could be a tech card. I don't mind 1 mana for 2 damage. And sometimes, you might get 1 for a 3 or 4. I mean, even in like Highlander Hunter, there's still some beasts. Or like with Desert Spear. I could even see that. So that seems pretty good. Krakowak really liked it. He put it as a 5. And he really likes it with like the spear and like Unleash the Hounds especially. Let's see, Itachi gave it a 1. And I don't see a score in there for Bitbeaker. But I'm imagining he also probably scored it pretty low. I can't say for sure.
I don't like this. I don't like 1 mana deal 2 damage in Hunter, and there's not a high enough density of beasts for you to ever hope that this is going to deal more, unless you're running like all beasts, and then you're running all beasts, and then I'm putting a question mark on your deck. This is like arcane shot that targets a minion. No thanks. I'm out. I put it as a 1.
I ended up putting it as a 2, and I forgot to mention this earlier with Wolpertinger, and is that I think it's fringe because there's a large group of people who really love Hunter who also really love Quest Hunter, and they always try and make Quest Hunter work, and I think it could fit in Quest Hunter, maybe. I just don't think Quest Hunter will ever be good without Leroy.
Rip Leroy.
Maybe. I don't know, that 2 mana Voracious Reader guy. He's probably going to make a lot of, or she, I think it's a she. She will probably make a lot of decks pretty good. but I'm not saying that's going to make this card good.
Okay. All right. The next one is Crowlusk Bark Stripper. 4 mana, 3/5 beast, spell burst, destroy a random enemy minion. And this one, I liked a lot. Crackwack liked as well. I gave it a 4. Crackwack gave it a 4. Tachi gave it a 3. And Bitbeaker gave it a 3. I feel like this could even be fine. Like, this seems solid enough to me to even run in, like, Highlander Hunter. I think you slot this in and you're playing, like, a tracking, or you're playing... corrosive, I mean, anything like that, and you're destroying a random enemy minion. But it feels like there's a lot of times where you could really get this to be a guarantee or even a 50-50 on a minion you want to destroy. So it's like giving a body and playing something else, and then you're getting to add in why are card names so hard? What's the spell destroy?
Deadly Shot?
Deadly Shot, thank you. Yes, that one. I like it.
I think I first saw this card on the live stream. I'm like, wow, that card's so cool. And then I thought about it. I'm like, wow, that card's so bad. I don't think you can... There's like no spells that you can play with this to make it efficient at all. Except like Rapid Fire, but then you're running Rapid Fire. The problem with this is just you don't have the spells to do it efficiently, or like when you want to destroy something, you want to just do it, you want to destroy it. And if you don't have a spell to do that with this is really bad. So just play Rottenness Drake, because that card's broken. So I put a 1 on this card. I don't think this card's going to see any play at all.
I hate this card. It just makes me so sad that this is a Hunter card. I think the stats are awful. There's no good spells in Hunter except the very few that are run in Highlander. I think it gets in the way of your Scavenger's Ingenuity. It's a bad Rot Nest. I'd rather run Deadly Shot. I don't like it. I don't like it.
Me neither. I did like it at first glance. The art is very cool.
Yeah, it's one of those that at first you think it's amazing, and then the more you look into it, you're like, this sucks. And there's others that are like, this sucks. And the more you look into it, and you're like, wait, hold on. This is amazing.
I think I saw this, I was like, that's a 4. And then I think I literally put it to a 3, and I'm like, nah, it's more a 2, and now I'm at a 1. It's just not happening. Just play Rottenness Drake. That card, I don't know why that card is 5 mana.
This is another one that has some really funny, really good flavor text. It says,
Ooh.
yeah, my friend went Crowlusk tipping once. Once!
Uh,
All right. Let's go ahead and go to the next one then. Another one we've already seen, but Teacher's Pet. 5 mana, 4/5 beast, taunt, death rattle, summon a random 3-cost beast. So for this one, I also rated this one pretty high. Crackwack and I both gave it a 4. Tachi gave it a 2. Bitbeaker gave it a 1. I don't know. There's something about this. I like the stats, and it's a taunt, and then you get something else. I don't know why. Like, it's just attractive to me. I'm like, yeah, I like this. Maybe it ends up being terrible, but like, yeah, for me, I'm just like, I'm drawn to it, and I don't know why.
I put it as a 1. I don't like it. I thought it was bad in Druid, which is a class where you want something defensive, and it had the guardian animals. Yes, there's guardian animals in Hunter, but we'll get to that later. This, no, I put it as a 1. I don't think you play this in any deck. It's not what Hunter wants at all. You're not playing a defensive Hunter deck, in my opinion, and this definitely does not fit into a Highlander Hunter, I don't think. It messes with your scavengers, too. Makes it worse.
I agree. I don't like it. I think I gave it a 1 as well. It doesn't fit. I mean, for a little bit, Highlander Hunter ran Bone Wraith, which even wasn't good, and that's been taken out most of the time. I just don't think it fits anywhere. You'd rather be aggressive.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay. Next one, Bloated Python. A 3-mana 1/2 beast. Death Rattle, summon a 4/4 hapless handler. So this one looks like not a lot of us rated it really highly. I gave it a 2, Crackwack gave it a 2, Itachi gave it a 2, Bitbeaker gave it a 3. I feel like this is one that you're probably not going to want to run in your deck, but you might not feel that bad if you get this off one of the, like, summon a random 3-cost beast because of the Death Rattle. Like, it's not that bad. Like, okay, cool, I'm getting some extra value out of it, but, like, I'd rather this over a, like, especially in Druid with the Mount Stellar. If I get this instead of, like, a 2/1 Owl, I'm much happier about that. But it's probably not one that I really want to be playing in my deck.
Oh my gosh, you made me so sad by telling me this can come off of Mount Stellar.
Sorry.
Why did you? I already hate Druid so much. And now you can get this. Why? Okay, in Hunter, the only reason I put it as a 2 and not a 1 is because this into Machnathal Lion is actually, like, ridiculously good. So if they kill it on turn 3, they're summoning a 4/4, and if they don't kill it, then you play Lion and get more 4/4s. But I don't think you're playing a Lion deck. That's like Beast Hunter, and I don't like Beast Hunter. So I put it as a 2. So maybe, probably not.
I love this card. I mean, I think it's terrible, but I love it. I feel like I was actually listening to No Hands talk about it, and he was really excited about this card, just the potential of an Egg Hunter. I think it just is cool. I don't think it'll be good, but I think it makes you want to make a Death Rattle deck with Terran Gorfiend, Machnathal Lion, things like that. I think it's cool, but bad. Fringe. So a 2.
Yeah, I saw that exact part of the review with him and Jay Alexander, and they were like, he was super excited about this card. He was very enthusiastic.
Like, when you were watching that, like, I feel like he's so enthusiastic about all the cards.
I
His
know.
review is hard to take serious because he's like, 4, so much potential.
I know.
You're like, really? Overwhelm, 4.
Yeah.
That was me
hilarious.
last set, I think.
He was so excited about so many things, which is good. I mean, he is the deck building master. He made the Egg Warrior, and he made the... Well, he was one of the first people to play Quest Warlock as well, and then Cube Priest also. So he knows what he's doing, and he's a Grandmaster now, so...
True.
Well,
Yeah.
Let's talk about something that's not really very grand, and that's the next card. Blood Herald! Hey! So let's talk about it for Hunter now. 5 mana, 1/1. Whenever a friendly minion dies while this is in your hand, gain +1/+1. A 2. I gave it a 2 because I think it's fringe. Maybe you're running this in, like, your Quest Hunter deck or something, I guess. And then you still have to have it in your hand. Yeah, it's not great. Crackwack gave it a 2. Itachi, Bitbeaker both gave it a 1.
Oh my gosh, if you thought this was bad in Demon Hunter, this is even worse in Hunter. Oh my gosh, this is probably the worst card in the set. Yikes. Big 1. Never see him play.
1, I hate it. Burn it with fire.
Yep.
Okay. Next one. We also have talked about this one, Demon Companion. Let's talk about it in Hunter, though. 1 mana, summon a random Demon Companion. Again, it's random, one of the 3. They're just basically half the size of the minions that come out of Animal Companion, but they're demons instead. Within Hunter, I don't know. I'm not sold on this. I don't like it very much for Hunter. I gave it a 1. Crackwack gave it a 2. Itachi gave it a 2. Bitbeaker gave it a 4.
I like it. I am saying goodbye to Blazing Battle Mage and hello to Demon Companion. I think it's just way better.
I
On
completely
all of
agree. It's way better than Blazing Battle Mage, and it gives me 2 chances to be disappointed at Leok.
True. This thing, like I noted with Demon Hunter, though, the Leok off this is way better later in the game. Like a 1-mana Leok's way better than a 3-mana Leok.
It is better than Blazing Battle Mage late game, right? Because it could give you Leok with better. It could give you a taunt. It could even give you a charge.
Literally all the options are better, right? The Blazing Battle Mage later in the game, and 2 of them are better on turn 1. So yeah, I'll cut Blazing Battle Mage, which is literally in every single Highlander Hunter deck right now.
Yeah, and I think part of the reason for that is that so far in the meta, we've only had the 4 sets, and basic and classic, right? So it's a much smaller card pool. So like as we start to get like this expansion and the next expansion added in, yeah, some of those cards will start to get removed because there'll be better options. So yeah, I can see that for sure. I don't know. I guess I'm just like so focused on the fact that they're demons and like they're half the size. But yeah, if you can pull this off on one, it's probably going to be pretty good.
Yeah. Also, the art on all of these is very cool. I really like this card.
I like the anagrams. I think it's cool.
Yeah, they're pretty sweet.
Like Refa is the charge one. It's just Huffer backwards.
You know, we're never gonna learn the names. We're just gonna call them like Huffer Leok.
Oh, yeah.
True. They're like, oh, nice, got Huffer on the one. Feels good.
Yeah.
Classic.
It's like everyone's calling the new Bloom card. Everyone's like, oh, the new Innervate.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's gonna be.
Lightning Innervate. Yeah.
All right. Okay, we've also seen this card again, or before, but let's talk about it again in terms of Hunter. True Aim Crescent, 1 mana, 1/4. After your hero attacks a minion, your minions attack it too. Again, I'm not as sold on this card. Looks like everybody gave it a 4 except for me. I gave it a 3. I don't know. I'm still just seeing it in some situations and not all the time. What am I missing? Explain it.
This in Hunter is better than it was in Demon Hunter. It's not quite a 5, I don't think, so I didn't put it as a 5. If there was like 4.5, I'd put it as a 4.5. Oh my god. In Highlander Hunter, this is going in every Highlander Hunter list, I think, for the rest of existence. If that deck is still good. But I think it will probably still be good. Either way, this with like anything is this. Oh my gosh! You rush all your minions in, and they go face. It's just so good. If you lose tempo at any point, there's a lot of times in Highlander Hunter mirrors where you get behind and they're starting to put minions out faster than you are. You just have this, and you can rush in your stuff, and you are no longer behind. Like, oh my gosh, it's so nice. If they have what Rot Nest and some other thing like a Feywing, and you play a Rot Nest Drake, you kill one of them, you play this, which is already equipped, you trade in. Like, and with Kreen, you can do all these free trades. Oh my god, it's so nice. It's beautiful. 4.
I also gave it a 4. There was a few combos I thought was really cool. I like it with now what am I thinking of? What's the dormant card? Felmaw. So Felmaw, the turn it wakes up, if you have your true aim, you can have it attack into a minion, which is pretty cool. Because it always goes face anyway. So now you can have it go face and then attack into their minions. It has synergy with Bloated Python. Help like pop your egg. What else did I think it has synergy with? Oh, and like I said in the other one, like the enraged minions, like your bone chewers, if those still make it, which I really hope bone chewers and stuff are gone because I think they're very suboptimal. But they have synergy with that.
Yep, this is just good. Just like in Demon Hunter, I think it's just good. and sometimes it's insane.
Harash with the strong opinion. Either it's a 5 or a 1.
I could see that, sort of. Maybe I think it's better than it is, and maybe it's trash, but I don't think so. I think it's insane. I played a lot of this Highlander Hunter. This is all I've played since the nerfs. Literally the only deck I've played. I haven't played a single other deck, even a single game, I don't think. Oh no, I played Mage like twice. Other than that, I've played only Highlander Hunter, and I would love to put this in my deck right now.
I don't know. I'm not crafting it. If I open it, we'll see. I think I opened one copy already, but I'm not crafting it. I don't know. I'm not sold. I'll wait till somebody much smarter than me figures it out, and then I'll just copy what they do. But then if it's not
crafting
good,
it in gold.
if the smart people show how good it is, then I'll be like, all right, cool. Like, I'm just gonna do what they're doing. But I don't know. I'm still just not sold on it. I don't even feel like it's that good of a weapon. Like everybody keeps bringing that up. Like forget the text. It's it's a good weapon. And even Bitbeaker said that earlier. But I still just don't. I don't know. I mean. What's the, there's one in Paladin, and it's just not used either, right? Isn't it a 1/4? Like, it's not used. So I feel like just the weapon, it's not great.
In Hunter, as just a 1/4 weapon, is trash. I don't think it's good. In Demon Hunter, it might actually be good for all their synergies, but this just allows you to push tempo and damage, which is exactly what you want.
I don't know. I think having a 1/4 weapon isn't terrible in Hunter. I mean, a lot of times when you're fighting for board, especially against Demon Hunter, you could be like 1 damage off always from killing their like their 1-drops and stuff. It could help you. Now I'm talking myself down.
No, I think this is really bad as a 1/4. I think it's just in Highlander Hunter, a tempo deck. This is what you want. But again, this is definitely one of those cards you need to play with it and see how it feels.
Yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and talk about the next one, which, again, we've already seen this one, and we all felt it was pretty good there, but in Hunter, Guardian Animals, 7 mana, summon 2 beasts that cost 5 or less from your deck, give them rush. Not really as good here. I gave it a 2. Crackback gave it a 2. Itachi gave it a 2. Bitbeaker gave it a 2. It just doesn't feel as good, and I don't think you're wanting to actually play 5-cost beasts or beasts that, I don't know. It doesn't feel as good.
I hate this in Hunter. I don't see any single beast you play. Fat one. Like I said in Druid, without Overgrowth, I think this card is bad. And they don't even have Twilight Runner in Hunter. Yeah, no thanks. I'm playing Bran on 7, not a bunch of rush beasts.
Right? And I gave it a 1 because you couldn't even play low-cost beast in this deck, right? Because you might pull them out, and it'd be completely worth this for a 7-drop. And even if you built around high-cost beasts, I was looking at the beast, and this is what really convinces you it's a 1. You've got like Hundra Rhino, Teacher's Pet, Lake Thresher, and then I even went down to Mana Saber for 4 because it's not terrible. But the beasts are just not nearly as good as Druid, and I think the Druid 5 mana draw 2 is broken, and we don't like Hunter doesn't have that. So and the Guardian Animals just isn't nearly as good.
Yeah, this is super weird because all the beast decks want you to have a high concentration of beasts, and this one's like, no, just put like 4 in. No. If I'm going to put 4 beasts in, I'm going to put in like Zixor and Diving Griffin. Thanks.
Because there's even Hunter decks that play big beast, right? Like that's like a fringe deck. But this is 5 mana. This is like middle of the road. Bleh.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't even work with that.
All right. Let's go ahead and go to the next one then. Professor Slate, legendary 3 mana, 3/4. Your spells are poisonous. All right. This one, I gave it a 4. I like it. I think it's pretty cool. Crackwack gave it a 5. Itachi gave it a 1. Bitbeaker gave it a 1. I don't know. I think this is cool. And I think if you're playing more of the other cards and the small spells like we talked about earlier, it makes this a little better. Like the Overwhelm is what it was. So like I think if you're playing stuff like Overwhelm, then it makes this better.
Yeah, I have this card as a 1. I think it's Omega bait. I don't think... if you want removal, you kind of want it on the turn. I was saying this earlier, but with the Krolos Bark Stripper guy, if you want removal, you want it right away. This is like... This really wants you to have a super high density of 1-cost-ish spells, like Rapid Fire. And again, then you're running this and Rapid Fire in a deck, and I just don't see it happening.
If I could give this card a -100, I would. I was just so mad. I think I was more mad that this was the Hunter Legendary, because it's just not good. Like, a lot of what Hunter does is control the board with Rush and things of that nature. You're not playing bad spells with this one card. And even if this one card sticks, you'd kill one thing. So it's like a Rot Nest, or I don't know. I hate it. It's a waste of a legendary.
I like what Harash said. Like, this in Rogue would be insane, because you already run all those spells. You run, like, Backstabs and all those. The problem with this is you have to put in all of those spells to make this good, so there's really no point in doing that. Might as well just run the good cards and not put in bad cards to make this bad card good. That makes
The only
sense.
Hunter deck that runs spells is Face Hunter. And it's called Face Hunter. You hit the face. You're not going to hit minions with it.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's go ahead and talk about the next one then. And that is, again, another one we've already seen, but Adorable Infestation. 1 mana, give a minion +1/+1. Summon a 1/1 cub. Add a cub to your hand. And this one, I still don't feel like it's very good. Even in Hunter, I gave it a 2. Crackwack gave it a 1. Itachi gave it a 1. Bitbeaker gave it a 3. But he also liked it a bit more in Druid as well. I don't know. I still don't feel like it's doing enough. I guess, even though it does seem like it's doing a lot, I don't think it's enough.
Yeah. I like my 1 mana cards to be played on turn 1, and this can't be played on turn 1, really. It's pretty awful. I'm good, thanks. I gave it 2, just like in Druid. I don't think it's terrible. I think it could potentially see play. Probably not.
It's a 1. It's slow. It has no tempo. Wait, this is up. Yeah, because look how cute these cubs are. Harash, we were saying earlier, we each want 10.
Yeah, these are great. What are they called again? They have a name. Dragon Rider knows the name.
Yeah, they are the Marsouls.
Yes, legends.
They are pretty adorable. I mean, the Marsoul cub, like the artwork on the token card, it is pretty adorable. And it's like standing over a book, and the book is like all lit up. They are adorable. But
That's why
I
I'm running
don't
this
think
card.
it's good. For the cuteness factor.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. I mean, that kind of fits the flavor text. This one says, "Some cards are strong by sheer power. Others draw strength from love." Aww. The love of the cuteness. Is it enough?
Nah.
No. All right. Let's go ahead and, again, talk about this legendary here. So, how do we feel about Ace Hunter Kreen in Hunter? 3 mana, 2/4. Your other characters are immune while attacking. Again, I don't know. I'm not sold on this. I gave it a 3. I think it's going to be kind of like a tech kind of card. Maybe you're going to use it sometimes, but I don't see the amazingness that everybody else does. Crackwack, though, gave it a 5. Itachi gave it a 1. Bitbeaker gave it a 4. We're all over the place.
A 1? Oh my god, he's a madman. How's this a 1? I put this as a 5 just like in Demon Hunter. I don't understand why people don't like this card. I went off on this card in Demon Hunter of why I think it's good, and I think all the same reasons. But also in the mid game with this, you trade in your like Rottenness Drakes into like a Rottenness Drake. That's very specific, but there's also a lot of other minions that trade. Like that's just insane. This is so ridiculous. And you're running True Aim, in my opinion, which is stupid good synergy with this. Easy 5.
A 5? What? Wait, are we looking at the same card?
Easy 5.
Yeah, guys, I liked. Sorry, I
Oh,
like
go
this
ahead.
one a lot.
That's it. I liked it a lot.
I like it. No,
Yeah, it's
I
good.
gave it a 2. I think if you look at, especially if you're looking at Highlander Hunter, there's a huge problem with 3-drops. There's only like a million of them, right? There's so many 3-drops, so that's already a huge problem. This is worse than Hunter than Demon Hunter. I think Hunter has a much harder time getting to the board early, unlike Demon Hunter. And then I also feel like on 3, a Diving Griffin would handle the board better than this. Because you could, I don't know, I think it would. I think you could Diving Griffin whatever you want to kill and then go face with whatever's on the board. And you also draw stuff out of your deck. I just think the ability to rush is better than this. I just need to see it in action, though. It's so hard to judge.
Yeah.
Broken.
I think
Nerf
that I was gonna say I think that's why our scores are all over the place. I think it's because it's just one of those cards where like there's so many differing opinions on it, and I want to see it being played and see if it's actually super great or not.
I'm on
Even
Neji's side.
Zixor. Yeah, Zixor is the same stats with Rush. And Zixor is still one of the worst win rate cards in Highlander Hunter, and it gives you a prime. I don't know. I don't see it.
It's broken.
Neji's right.
Crackwack knows what he's talking about, okay?
That's true. It's very true.
All right, let's go ahead and jump into the last Hunter card here. Shandu, Wildclaw, 3 mana, 3/3. Choose one, give beast in your deck +1/+1, or transform into a copy of a friendly beast. This one for Hunter, I did like as well. I gave it a 4. I think it's pretty solid.
Yeah, I like the cheap cost copy any beast.
Crackwack gave it a 4 as well.
What are you copying? I'm just curious. Like, maybe I can get on your side.
All right. I don't know all the cards. I just like the value of a copy.
I gave this a 1. I don't like it just in Druid. I think there are more beasts you can run in Hunter. Then you're running Beast Hunter, and Beast Hunter seems trash, so I'm good, thanks. I'm gonna keep the nice 1 on this guy.
I gave it a 2. I also agree it would have to go on a Beast Hunter. It couldn't go on like a Highlander variant. I think it'll be a fringe deck. Beast Hunter will. Turn
You
10
can't-
Crush plus Crush.
Yeah, you can't play this with Bran on 10, but then you're running a 3 mana 3/3 that's good on 1 card in your deck, so let's not.
All right. That is the end of Hunter. We've gone through 3 classes already. We've got 3 more to go still tonight. All right. Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into Mage. The first one here, Trick Totem, 2 mana, 0/3. Totem. At the end of your turn, cast a random spell that costs 3 or less. Let's see. I gave this a 3. I think it's okay. Like, you might play it for some stuff. I don't see it.
Just remember, I scored it a 5.
Yeah, I got a nice 1 on this guy. 2 random. There's no synergy. I think it's trash.
a 3. I mean, it's like a baby, whatever. Like it's casino mage. It could be fun. It
It's
could
fun,
high roll
right?
you. You live by the high roll, you die by the high roll. Good box, bad box. Good evil trick totem, bad trick totem.
Fun 2-drop.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun for one of the players.
The person who's running it.
This is why I have a box emote, just saying.
Yeah.
It's fun for me, not my opponent.
All right. Next one here. Cram Session. 2 mana. Draw 1 card. Improved by spell damage. And, okay, I wanted to ask this. We were kind of talking about this earlier. Does anybody know? Let's say you have a spell damage minion that gives spell damage +2. Does this then draw you 3 cards? Or does it just
Yes.
draw you 2?
It draws you 3.
Okay. So I feel like that's better than if it were just 1 card per, like, having spell damage. I still gave it a 3, though. I think that probably doesn't change much, but maybe it's like a 3.5. I don't know. I'm not sold on the spell damage stuff at all, anyways. So I think that's why I'm like, I'm not sold on any of that.
Yeah, this one, it's tough. I like half like the spell damage stuff, and half of it I don't like. But I'll just stick to this card for now. I think you might run this if you're playing like lab partners, which seem good. Astromance or Solarian seems good. I'm just not sure if you can really get a high enough density of spell damage for this to be good. It's tough, but it is draw in a deck that does want to cycle. I put it as a 3. I think it could be good, but
I think they tried to shove so much spell damage. It's gonna be a 2 or 3 draw no matter what.
If you're playing it in that, yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe it's like really crazy good if you're playing a bunch of spell damage stuff, and it's just. But if you're playing that, then it seems great, right? I guess.
yeah, I just don't want to play a bunch of spell damage minions because like 90% of them are really, really bad.
I guess you're saying, like, if you went turn 1, what was it, lab partner, turn 2, draw 2, that's not terrible compared to, like, Arcane Intellect. But
Yeah,
I
that's
think
nice.
the big problem we're going to have with some of these cards is that there's so many things running around about Exodia. What is it, the Mizaki? Like, all these combos, right? Mizaki. And Cram Session would be one that would fit into the Exodia combo stuff. So I gave it a 2 for Fringe, because I think people get overly excited about combo and then it underperforms. So yeah, I'll give it a 2 for Fringe.
Okay. All right, let's go ahead and go to the next one. Firebrand, 3 mana, 3/4, spell burst, deal 4 damage randomly split among all enemy minions. This one, I like this one. I gave it a 4. I think it's pretty solid, like spell burst, but you can still just play it whenever. I even see this maybe just being slotted into like Highlander Hunter. Plus, it's not bad stats. Like a 3 for a 3/4 is pretty decent as well.
Yeah, good stats, good effect, just solid. I think you can slot this into your deck and you're pretty happy against most things. Not too much to say about this one for me. I put it as a 4.
Yeah, I'm in the middle. I put a 3.
I also put a 3. I think it goes easily into Highlander or the new, like the no minion mage, spell mage type stuff. Maybe not no minion, but spell mage, yeah.
Yeah. Tachi gave it a 3 and Bitbeaker gave it a 4 as well. So looks like they kind of are on the same page as the rest of us. All right. The next one, Worm Weaver, 5 mana, 3/6, spell burst, summon 2 1/3 mana worms. I don't know. For me, I'm not sold on this. I gave it a 2. Looks like Bitbeaker gave it a 2. Itachi gave it a 3. Me.
I was just looking at stats and I thought there was a lot of value.
You gave it a 4.
Yeah, I gave it a 4.
don't like this. I don't want to play this in any of my decks. I have it as a 1. The payoff seems pretty bad. Like this on 5, you can't play this on 5. It's so bad on 5. And then even later on, it's yeah, I just don't like it. 1.
I gave it a 2 for too slow. I do think it's friends though. I think
love it.
people love Mana Worm. There's like nostalgia kind of for it. They love that card. I think it'll be friends. I think people will try and make something around it, but for normal play, it's just too slow.
I liked Mana Worm at 1 mana.
Oh,
How
yeah.
about at 5?
A lot of people did. It was everywhere.
2 mana? No, I'm good.
You sure you don't want 5?
Nah. Nah.
All right. Go ahead and talk about the next one here. Primordial Studies. 1 mana, discover a spell damage minion. Your next one costs 1 less. This one, I gave a 3. Bitbeaker gave a 3. Itachi gave it a 2. I don't know. Maybe it sees some play. I think it probably sees play if you're doing spell damage stuff.
So I was going off the spell damage, like people were going to play it, so I give it a 5.
I got it as a 1. All these studies cards, I looked through the pool of cards that you could get to determine if they were worth playing. I can tell you, this one is not worth playing. There are 2 good spell damage minions. Other ones are all bad, and there are a lot of them. Astromancer, Solarian, and Lab Partner are good. Everything else is trash. So, I put this as a 1. I'm not putting any of my decks.
I have a really newbie question. Does this only discover from neutral and mage if you're a mage?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I went through and looked as well. The only really one is like Solarian or the 1-drop. Exactly what Neji said. There's just in the pool. There's just so much bad stuff.
Yeah, the
I ended
pool
up giving
sucks.
it a 3, but I could go down to a 2.
Okay. Go ahead and go to the next one. Brain Freeze. I've seen a lot of discussion on this one. 1 mana, freeze a minion, combo, also deal 3 damage to it. So this one, we are on opposite ends here. I really like this. I think there's more value in this than people are giving it credit for. I gave it a 5. I think it's... I've heard the comparison of Ray of Frost, and some people are just like, Ray of Frost is way better. I mean, most of the time, I feel like you're playing Ray of Frost either just the one to freeze, and that's exactly what this does, or you're playing both copies of the Ray of Frost to deal 2 damage. And so this kind of is doing that same thing.
Yeah. I give it a 5 as well.
I got it as a 2. I don't think it's that good. I think it's just like a filler card you throw into a high density of spells, like in a Mozaki deck. Otherwise, I don't think you play this. I do think Ray's just better, because 1 mana you freeze, and if you have, like, Ray itself can combo itself. This doesn't have something else to combo with it, so
That's fair.
it's just awkward. There's a lot of times where I play Ray and I don't have another spell to play with it, and I feel like that's going to come up a lot with this, where you're going to want the combo and you don't have something that you really want to do, and it's just going to make your turn kind of awkward just to deal 3 damage. But I think there is a chance that you want a high density of low cost spells like this in a Mozaki deck, so that's why I have it as a 2, but I don't think it's a great tool.
I gave it a 1, and I feel like it doesn't make the 30 card cut. Even when you're talking about a high density of 1s, there's better 1s. I don't think it makes the cut. It doesn't go face, which I think a lot of people disliked. Because at least the 3 mana freeze a minion, deal 3 damage goes face. And this doesn't go face. I just don't think is good enough. So I gave it a 1.
Yeah, I actually said that a lot about neutral cards. I was wondering if it made the 30 card cut. So I get that.
I think if this had 3 damage face, it'd be a 5. It'd be broken.
Yep.
It'd be so much burst damage for 1 mana.
That's fair. And it looks like Bitbeaker also gave it a 1. Itachi gave it a 2. It's kind of in line with what you and Christine both said, Neji. So let's go ahead and go to the next one. Potion of Illusion, 4 mana. Add 1/1 copies of your minions to your hand. They cost 1. Let's see. I'll just read here. Itachi gave it a 2. Bitbeaker gave it a 2. I gave it a 2.
I give it a 2.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, I got a 1 on this one. It's not happening. You're gonna get smorked down. There's no way you can survive long enough to play your combo with this. The only combo I really see was the Antonitis one, and it's super out there and takes you have to draw through pretty much your entire deck to get through it. No thanks. Plus, there's a lot of combo disruption in the meta. I just don't think you play this.
I also gave it a 2. I think it's fringe. I think it's part of Exodia. I think people will like to try it. And I don't think it'll be good. So yeah, 2.
I'm also kind of scoring this one low too because of kind of that theory that I had earlier where I think people are expecting a lot more combo and playing on the whole there's going to be a lot of combo and all this stuff combos, and I don't see it. I don't think there's going to be enough combo in the meta. There might be 1 or 2 combo decks, but honestly we kind of have that now. There's 1 or 2 kind of combo decks, and then there's a lot of tempo, mid-range, Highlander, I don't feel like combo is going to be that great. If combo is great, or if there is some cool, maybe there's Death Rattle stuff that you can do with this, or I don't know, yeah, maybe Maligo stuff, but I'm just not buying into the combo stuff here. So, I mean, yeah, what other mage minions are you even wanting to combo? Like you said, I guess the Antonitis.
Yeah,
there's not really.
No thanks. This card, I'm good.
Solarian.
This is a bad combo. If you're gonna run a combo deck, why would you play this? Just play Quest Warlock. This is so bad.
I guess when I was watching board controls, they did talk about this card, and they mentioned comboing this with your Solarian Prime. So you play the 1/1 and you get the spells, but yeah, it's just I don't see it. It's too slow.
No thanks. This card is something you're gonna get off Solarian Prime. You're gonna be like, wow, thanks, another one. That's awesome.
Yeah. All right. Next one here, Legendary Jandis Barov, a 5 mana 2/1 Battlecry. Summon 2 random 5-cost minions. Secretly pick one that dies when it takes damage. Okay, this one is really interesting. I really like the design of it. I gave it a 4. Bitbeaker gave it a 4. Itachi gave it a 5.
I gave it a 4, guys.
Yeah, seems good.
Yeah, this one's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Just stats. I'm playing this in my Highlander mage. I don't know about you.
Yeah.
Seems good. It's pretty mind gamesy too. You could I don't know, if you get 1 bad one, you could actually put the effect on the good one, and then they might not think. I don't know. There's a lot of weird things that you can do. It's just
I like that.
It's just so many stats for 5 mana. It's not like the thing just dies right away. They actually have to put something into it. They have to trade a minion or put a card into it to make it die, which would probably kill it anyway. So it's just good.
I gave it a 4. I think it's just a big pile of stats that's amazing, and it's fun. It's a fun card. If you evolve into this though, it's gonna suck.
Yeah, that's true.
This is why I don't play evolved decks.
Yeah, you're really leaning into the high roll there.
Yeah, I got a 4 on this one as well. Good card.
I think it'll be cool, if you find some Death Rattle, then picking the Death Rattle thing that if it, takes a damage, then that dies, and you get the Death Rattle effect. There could be some different little synergies with that.
True.
For sure.
All right. Next card, Lab Partner, 1 mana, 1/3, spell damage +1. Let's see, this one here. I gave it a 3. Bitbeaker gave it a 3. Itachi gave it a 3.
I think it's a pretty good one. I said 4.
Yeah, this is real nice. Play this on 1 and it's just good too.
Right.
But yeah, it's just almost at any stage in the game this is good. You don't play this in Highlander Mage, but you play it in like every other mage that isn't just pure spells. It's just solid. I put a 3 on it. I like it a lot.
Also put a 3. Nothing really to add. Good stats. It's a 1-drop. That's it.
Yeah. Okay. Raz Frost Whisper, legendary. 5 mana, 3/6. At the end of your turn, deal 1 damage to all enemies. Improved by spell damage. Alright, so this one, I gave it a 3. Bitbeaker gave it a 4. Itachi gave it a 4.
I kind of looked at the card previous to it and thought people would do spell damage, and I loved it. I said a 5.
It's like Despicable Dreadlord, but it has better stats for a card that you want to be defensive. I like it. I'm putting this in Highlander Mage. And I don't think you need the spell damage to make it good. It's just a bonus. I got a 4 on this one.
I gave it a 4. I'm really torn on it. I don't know. I feel like it is taunt though. It's one of those minions that inherently has taunt. Because it's like you have to kill it, right? And it's a 3/6, which is pretty annoying. I just don't know if it's good enough. Like maybe against Rogue with a lot of lackeys.
Well,
I need to see it in action.
I think one thing too is like, because it just says at the end of your turn, so every turn that this
Right,
lives
more
on
than
the
once.
board, yeah, like it can go off every turn
Yeah.
that it's on the board, which I think makes it kind of like you said, like a soft taunt almost. Like they're gonna want to get rid of this as soon as possible, which also makes it a little bit more of a high value card.
This
Oh, priest that steal it.
Yeah.
This is like
Sure.
I don't. This with spell damage is in like a spell damage deck with a bunch of spell damage with like lab partners and Mozaki. This thing hits face.
Yeah. Very good.
Oh yeah, it's all
Yeah,
enemies
very
too.
good,
Oh
yeah.
yeah. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
this
this
is
can hit
even
face
better.
in like a burst deck.
Like I scored it higher, but that's even better. So like this
Yeah.
is
I said a 5 still.
yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
For some reason, I just read, like, in my head, all minions, like, enemy minions. I was like, yeah, that's still pretty good. And it hits face. Yeah, this is good.
I thought it was minions too. I can't remember where someone told me that, but
Yeah.
pretty good.
Helps to read the words. Words are hard.
It's just so similar to a card that already existed that we just kind of assume it's the same.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. All right, next one here. Another legendary. Mozaki Master Duelist. 5 mana, 3/8. After you cast a spell, gain spell damage +1. Yeah, so I don't know. We're kind of split on this, it seems like. I gave it a 1. I don't like it at all. Bitbeaker gave it a 2. Itachi gave it a 2.
I'm right up there. I didn't like it too much. It's a high cost.
He gave it a 2.
I give it a 2.
I think this is really good. Play it in like a Cyclone Mage with a bunch of cheap spells and Sorcerer's Apprentice, and you burst them for like so much ridiculous amounts of damage late game. You play this on 5, it's like the most must-kill minion in the entire game on 5. They have to kill it, or they are just about to get completely blown out.
So just a quick question I guess I have.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the other spell damage stuff you guys rated lower, and I'm wondering how this is different. And that's also a newbie question.
Just I like this one better because it scales with the amount of spells you play. Like with Sorcerer's Apprentice, you just start like chaining spells off with like Magic Trick, etc. And then if you end with even just like an Arcane Missiles, it deals like 10 damage or more, which is more than just the other spell damage stuff, which
All right.
It's
okay.
not that great. And you can't get this off of the studies because it doesn't actually have spell damage itself. That's what I'm thinking. So I got a 4 on this one. I
Okay.
might. I could have put it at a 5 actually. I'll keep it as a 4.
I also have it at a 4, but I could have gone 3. I do think it has crazy OTK potential. I open this, so I hope it's good. It also has 8 health, though, which is kind of bonkers. Like, 8 health is pretty hard to kill. So it could survive a turn. But I think it's OTK, and I think people over-evaluate OTK.
I don't think that's the thing about this. I don't think it has to be OTK. I think it's just like in that type of deck, you're dealing a lot of like incremental damage with your spells, and this with like just one crazy turn doesn't have to kill them, but it can deal a lot of damage, which is quite nice.
All right, next we have Combustion, 3 mana, deal 4 damage to a minion. Any excess damages both neighbors. Let's see, this one, I think it's okay. I gave it a 3, Bitbeaker gave it 3, Itachi gave it a 3.
Yeah, I give it a 5. I thought it could be good.
I got a 3 on this one as well. It's just solid, I think. Not amazing, not bad. I think it's just pretty good removal. I like it. Not much else to say about it.
I like it a lot, too. I gave it a 3. I think it could easily go into Highlander Hunter right now. I think it's better than the Dormant Minion. I think it's a lot better than people are playing, like, Overconfident Orc. I think it gives you one more tool to slow off aggro until you can get to your Reno turns and things like that. So I think it's good.
I probably would also play this in Highlander Hunter. But I think we're putting it in Highlander Mage.
Oh yeah, Highlander Mage.
I just had to tease you a little bit. This
I'll
would be
punch it
okay.
out my brain.
That's okay. Yeah, I guess it
probably put in there.
Yeah. And maybe it gets even better if you're playing the spell damage stuff too, where you're probably playing this in the spell damage deck, and yeah, like I guess that's why Crackwhack gave it a 5.
Yeah.
This and the lab partner to this is pretty nuts.
Yeah.
Solid.
Okay. Next, we have Devolving Missiles. 1 mana. Shoot 3 missiles at random enemy minions that transform them into ones that cost 1 less. This is another one that's kind of been an interesting card that people have really been talking about, but it seems like we all gave it decent scores. I gave it a 4. Bitbeaker gave it a 3. Itachi gave it a 3.
I gave it a 4.
I like it a lot. I'm gonna move mine up to a 4. I've been thinking about it. This one just seems really good against literally everything.
Yeah.
I can't think of a scenario where this is bad. It just if they play like Battle Fiend's Sidekick, 2 wisps, 1 mana, nice. Okay. They play Edwin, nice, 2 drop. Or no, if they just play Edwin and like another thing, this might turn Edwin into like a 1 drop. This is so efficient for 1 mana, actually. Wow, this is really good.
Man, I almost want to go to 4 now too, because it could take primes, right? Like it could devolve a prime and your prime's gone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I do like it more in Mage than Shaman, even though we're not talking about that, because you have your hero power is really good too. That if it devolves down to something lower, you could just ping it off and it's gone.
I agree.
True.
I really like that potential combo. Yeah, because I mean, Neji kind of mentioned it, but there has been confirmed like there's nothing that's gonna cost less than 0. So if it hits a 1 cost, it's gonna transform to the 0 mana wisp, right? Like a 1/1. It's never just gonna like make it disappear. So there's still gonna be something on the board afterwards. So yeah, the mage hero power is able to just kind of clean that up really easily, or some really cheap spells if you're already playing that kind of stuff.
I almost want to put this as a 5 because it goes into in every
I'm with
deck.
you there, Neji.
Yeah.
I'm gonna literally put it as a 5. I actually think it's crazy good.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm looking at it too.
Just goes in literally every mage deck, I think. Yeah.
And it's at 1, so it can also go in combo decks.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, it's actually kind of nuts.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, why do I keep clicking off of stuff? Well, that's all right. Okay, so we're on the last mage card here. Wand Thief, 1 mana, 1/2 combo. Discover a mage spell. Let's see this one here. I think it's okay. I put it as a 3. But Bigger gave it a 2. Itachi gave it a 2.
I think it's a solid 1.
He gave it a 4.
I give it a 4.
I got a 1 on this one. This one was kind of hard for me to rate. At first glance, I thought it was good. And now I can't think of a single deck I want the card in. Yeah, I don't know. Like in Cyclone Mage is like the only thing maybe you would ever put it in. But in that deck, why am I not just running like Magic Tricks? I don't want to have to combo this to get my mage spells. And Magic Tricks is better anyways because you want cheap spells. You don't even want to discover expensive things. I just don't see a single deck I put this in, so 1 for me.
I had a 2, but I'm going 1. Because it's not a 1-drop, right? You can't combo this on 1 unless you have a coin, and that's a total waste. I'm already a mage. So if there's a mage spell I wanted, I'd be running it. At least things like the cards Neji was talking about, at least they discount cards. This doesn't even discount a mage spell. I can't see it being run in mage.
Yeah. Not great.
All right. That was the end of mage.
That was pretty quick.
Yeah. All right. Paladin next. Okay, so just a fair warning for everybody who may not know. Christine loves Hunter. I love Paladin. Paladin's my favorite class. It hasn't been very good.
Yeah.
Whoa. I actually think there's like a good Paladin deck here. I'm saying this. I think Paladin's trash, so hold on.
I think last set I probably rated a lot of the cards a lot higher because I was like, it's Paladin, it's gonna be great, and it hasn't been great. And I honestly like the all Paladin deck. Like, I don't even like that. I don't think it's that great. Like, I think people overhype it, personally, so I don't even play it. But all right, first one here. Blessing of Authority. 5 mana. Give a minion +8/+8. It can't attack heroes this turn. I really like this. I think you're probably just playing this in any Paladin deck. I gave it a 5. But Beaker gave it a 1. Itachi gave it a 3.
Yeah, I gave it a 4, but I was almost a 5. I was looking at all the Paladin cards when I rated it.
I don't play a lot of Paladin, I will admit. I have like 150 wins over 6 years. But I put this as a 1. I feel like if you're buffing something, you want to go face. And having to buff it and just not go face, it feels bad. It feels like that 8 mana 12/12 thing that like can't attack, but it's super overstated. I mean, that's not the best comparison because you'd never play that. But I don't love that it can't go face. I feel like if you spend 5 mana to buff something and you don't really get the immediate impact, your opponent has pretty easy time just clearing it. At that point, it feels like the Blood Herald, where you're just playing a 5 mana really big thing. You're not impacting the board, and they're just removing it, is what I see here.
I agree. I also have it at a 1. I'm not a Paladin player. I'll preface that, but I just don't think it's good enough at 5. It does have like synergy with that Argent Braggart guy that we'll talk about later.
Right.
Which is interesting. I just think there's better 5 drops. I don't know. I'm not excited about it.
Okay. All right. Next we have the Judicious Junior, a 6 mana 4/9 lifesteal with amazing artwork as well, by the way. I don't know. I think this is solid enough. Like, I guess I gave it the highest rating. I gave it a 3. I think it can see some play. It might be too slow depending on the meta. But I think it's fine. It's already got the lifesteal, and you can do some other stuff with it. Looks like Bitbeaker gave it a 1. Itachi gave it a 1.
I gave it a 2, but I really don't like it. It might be a 1.
I got a 2 for this one. I think it's. I had it as a 1, but it's a lot of healing on stats. Maybe you play this, but I don't think it's terrible. So that's why I didn't put it as 1. I think there's a chance you could play this, but I don't think it's that great. So I got a 2 on it.
I also have a 2. I put commencement ? Which I think is the next card. It'd be okay with that. It might go in like a dual paladin. I think it's a 2 because it's French. I think people might try and do some stuff with it, but it won't be great.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and talk about that next one. Commencement. 7 mana. Summon a minion from your deck. Give it Taunt and Divine Shield. Now, this one, I love Paladin, but I just don't see this card. It feels slow to me. I don't think it does enough. There's not really great minions you really want to be pulling, I guess. So I gave it a 2. Bitbeaker gave it a 1. Itachi gave it a 1.
Yeah, I didn't like it much. I got a 2.
I got a 1. Yeah, I don't think this is seeing any play. Like what you said, just I don't like the idea of playing a big paladin with like duel and stuff. That's already had the chance to see play. I don't think this is going to do that much for it. It's too slow. Nah, I'm good.
I put 2 for dual paladin. I don't think it'll be good, but I think it's French. I know people were kind of excited about a new card for dual paladin. So I think people will try it out.
All right, next we have Wave of Apathy, a 1 mana, set the attack of all enemy minions to 1 until your next turn. This one, we definitely have some differing opinions on. I think it's kind of just middle of the road. Like, it might be teched in if there's, like, the meta for it, or maybe you need a kind of smaller spell or something. I don't know. I gave it a 3, but Bigger gave it a 2. Itachi gave it a 1.
I really like it. It's a 4.
We're all over the place.
It's kind of a cool effect. I think it's
Yeah.
better in Priest than Paladin.
I also agree.
Because, I mean, we'll talk about that later. I think Priest is the last class for today, so we'll get to it. But, yeah, I don't think you have many uses for it in Paladin. It's kind of like a Frost Nova, but, nah, it's kind of bad. Why do I have it at 2? This is a 1. Yeah, I don't see any reason to play this.
It's a 4.
What did I give? I think I gave it a 1. I feel like Pallies already have so many effects like this already, and they're bad. And they're like, how do you make Pally better? Well, no, let's just keep letting them set health to 1. That'll keep making them better. I don't know. I just don't think it's good enough.
I mean, I'd rather set the health. This is setting the attack. I'd rather set the health to 1 and then clear the board.
And
like
consecrate, right?
Yeah,
right.
or
When you set the health to 1, you're just delaying the inevitable instead of having
Very
it
true.
for the board.
yeah.
Why am I playing this instead of Lord Barov? Like, what?
Oh.
Crazy.
Wait, is that next?
Madness.
Oh,
No,
no. He's not.
almost.
Not yet.
All right. Well, now I'm excited for that. Let's go to the next one here, though. Shield of Honor, another 1 mana. Give a damaged minion +3 attack and Divine Shield. This one, yeah, I'm hyped on this one. I gave it okay, again, we're contrasting opinions here. I gave it a 5. Okay, I like this one a lot. Bitbeaker gave it a 2. Itachi gave it a 1.
I think Dragon's Hype made it higher for me. I give it a 4.
I sold him on it. All right, Christine, Neji, tell me why it's bad.
Oh, I gave it a 1 because it only belongs in 1 class, and that class is not Paladin. I just don't think there's enough synergy, like Warrior has, which I don't want to talk about, but it just doesn't have that synergy. With 1 mana, you have a lot of buffs, right? Like your Librams and stuff that are more guaranteed.
My Wi-Fi totally went out. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was I talking earlier
No.
No?
about this card?
No.
Nope.
Nope.
Oh, I had like a full speech about this.
No.
And then
Well,
I heard this weird sound, and then like everything refreshed. Okay, we're back.
no. All right, well, tell us why it's bad. Here we go. I'm ready.
Well, no, what I said when nobody could hear me was, what about this? Like, how do you see yourself damaging minions to be able to play this? Like, in Warrior, it's good because you have, like, inner rage and skippers and stuff, but in Paladin, I just don't know how you're getting it off.
See, that's why I let Dragon make me like it.
That's why it was a 1. I think it's bad. I don't think you can get it off.
But after the minions duel, right? Duel.
No. Get me out of here.
No, we're not
I
playing
also
Duel.
gave it a 1. So.
Yeah, I just don't see how you play it, because if you trade into a minion, it's damaged, then you buff it. Well, now you're playing a buff spell for attack on a turn or a part of the game where you can't attack with it. You have to wait a turn. It just seems awkward.
You're still getting good
So I got a 1
value.
on it.
It's fine, I think, most of the time. But I think part of why I'm giving this such a high score is, like, I don't mind trading in and then using this, but I'm also using this for spell burst stuff, like to trigger a spell burst.
Okay,
And
maybe.
there's a little bit
Over
of
Libram
stuff.
of Wisdom?
Well, Libram, like, you might play both depending on what deck you're playing, but I still think this is fine, and it forces, especially depending on the meta too. Like, you're also giving it the Divine Shield, so you're forcing your opponent to now deal with the Divine Shield part of it too.
Mm-hmm.
So
So it's sort of defensive.
yeah. I think I'm imagining more of like a mid-range, hopefully kind of going back to like the old school type mid-range Paladin. I miss that deck a lot. And I don't know, I just feel like I see this there. Like, you're using your board to make some trades, and then you're setting it up to make your board awkward again, or, maybe this works with the junior and it's damaged, and then you put it there, and now it's got Divine Shield and more attack, so you get more healing.
I think it looks flexible to me, but then because it says damage, it doesn't feel flexible anymore because I have to really have that damage minion there. And the thing with the spell burst, like, the only good spell burst thing that I can think of is the 3/6, unless there's something else that I'm missing. But it's not that good on the 3/6, right? Because the 3/6 says when you cast a spell on this, then cast your next spell and target this. But that means your 3/6 has to live on the board, trade into something, and then you cast it. It's like you can't play this on 5 with that thing, so it's still kind of hard to do.
Well, the Goody 2 Shields has the spell burst as well.
Yeah, that's true. That card, actually, you're right. Yeah, that one's good.
I don't know. Maybe
We'll
I'm
see.
overhyping it. We'll see.
I like it in Warrior, but we'll talk about that tomorrow.
Yes. All right. Well, now we mentioned this earlier. Let's get to Lord Barav, legendary 3 mana 3/2. Battlecry, set the health of all other minions to 1. Death Rattle, deal 1 damage to all minions. This one, though, like, I gave it a 4. I'm not sure you're playing in every single Paladin deck. And maybe they have the chance to, like, silence it or something, or play around the Death Rattle part. But I still think it's pretty solid. Bitbeaker gave it a 3. Itachi gave it a 3. Crackwack gave it a 4.
It's just better equality. It's on a stick. Like, you don't even need the Death Rattle to go off. You just play this, get the Battle Cry, and then you cast like your Consecration like you normally would. But you have a minion that sticks around. It's just better than equality in like every single situation, it seems. I like it. I like it a lot.
I like it a lot. I gave it a 4. I agree with that. Equality with the stat stick. It's just good.
Yeah, I got a 4 on it as well.
Okay. The next one, I'm probably gonna say this wrong. Hi Abbas Allura. 4 mana,
Yeah,
3/6. Yeah, I guess. 4 mana, 3/6. Spell burst. Cast a spell from your deck. Targets this if possible. So I think this is one that I rated much differently for the two classes, but for Paladin, I think it's pretty solid. I gave it a 4. Looks like Bitbeaker gave it a 4. Itachi gave it a 2. He's not very sold on it. Crackwack gave it a 5. I don't know. I think it's a lot easier to build a Paladin deck with spells that you want to be casting on this. And it seems pretty good, though. But, I mean, Spellburst, like, you could also use it at the same time as setting your opponent's stuff to 1 attack or 1 health or whatever, playing a Consecration and clearing something, and then you're buffing this. Seems pretty good.
Yeah, this just seems never bad. Like, it's a 4 mana 3/6. Okay, thanks. That's good stats. I'll take it. And then the effect is insane. You cast a spell on this, then you could cast all the spells in your deck are good. If it's a buff, it instantly targets this. If it's the Libram Equality thing, sure, you'll equality the whole board for free. If it's Consecration, you Consecration for free. If it's Blessing of Kings, thanks. That feels good. I just don't see how it's bad in the Paladin decks. You just have to not run spells that would make it bad, but that seems pretty easy. I feel like every single spell you already run is good with this. So I got a 4 on this one.
So when it says cast a spell from your deck, does it use the copy of the spell?
Cast a spell. No, I think it just pulls out of your deck.
Yeah, it would remove it from your deck and use it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not going to be the same as, like, Pilgrim in Mage, right? It's not like creating a copy of it. So it does take it out of your deck and use it.
I think I ended up giving it a 3. I mean, I think it's a solid stats and it goes. I don't think it's overpowered. I think the only downside is that it could use your Consecration when you don't want to, and I feel like Consecration is a pretty useful tool when dealing with aggro. And to lose it maybe when you didn't want it could suck. But that's about it.
Okay. All right, the next one, Argent Braggart, 2 mana, 1/1. Battlecry, gain attack and health to match the highest in the battlefield. This is a pretty cool effect, and this one looks like we all rated pretty decently. I gave it a 5, Crackwack gave it a 5, Bitbeaker gave it a 4, Itachi gave it a 5. I really like this. I think even like for tempo, earlier to mid game, you could still use this on, like, turn 4, turn 5, you know, and take the 3/4 whatever stats of something and then remove it. It's still good.
I have this as a 4, but I didn't understand how it worked, so I'm putting it to a 5. Apparently, I didn't know this is how it worked. I thought it just copied the highest thing in play. Like, if there's a 3/4 and that was the highest statted minion, it would take the 3/4. No, if there's like a 4/3 and like a 3/7, it becomes a 4/7. I'm like, what? It just takes the highest stat from multiple things, just become literally the biggest thing on the board. I didn't know that's how it worked.
Whoa!
So,
I rated it as a 5, thinking that same thing.
yeah,
Can I make it a 6?
Takes the highest stat from whatever it wants. Just picks the 2 highest stats on the board. I saw it in a video today. I'm like, what? Why? Yeah.
Whoa.
I don't. He's just good at all stages of the game. Late game, it's insane. Early game, on turn 2, okay, maybe it's not the best thing, but almost every other stage, it's good. Wow. Yeah, this card is broken. I think this card's gonna get nerfed.
I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I think it's one of those I'll have to play with. Like, it seems good. I think it'll stay in your hand quite a bit. And I think this is the biggest problem with Paladin to me as well, is that so many cards in the game, when they come into play, they have a really good effect, right? Rush, Divine Shield, Taunt, etc. They affect the board. This doesn't. This just comes in as a stat stick. So then if they just remove it, that's it, right? It doesn't, that's the problem with Paladin. It doesn't have enough effect on the board at the time, and it falls behind, and then it relies on big taunts and heal, and you kill that, and they don't have no way to kill you. I don't think it's going to play as well as it feels.
Except the stat stick costs 2 mana this time.
We'll never play it on 2, right? It's going to be in your hand.
Mana. Like, if they have a big thing a bit later, you could play this, and then a quality, and you have their big thing now. It's like Faceless Manipulator for 2 mana. That doesn't take the text.
Okay. How many big stat sticks are there in the game that don't do anything?
Well, if I'm playing Paladin, I just play this for 2 mana, steal their like Glaive-bound Adept, and then clear it with my other minion. I just put an insane amount of tempo on the board.
And then Diving Griffin just kills it. Like, there's just no big stat sticks. They have to do something, and I think that's where Paladin falls behind, is their cards don't do enough.
I just think because it costs 2 mana, it'll be good. If it costs more, I agree, it's just a stat stick like Blood Herald or something. But I think for 2 mana, it's really making it cheap, and I think you can utilize it. We'll see, though. Yeah, you definitely got to play with it and see how it goes.
I agree that I need to play with it to see. Yeah.
You know, the more I'm talking about this, I'm really going to push for Legend before the set comes out. And then, like, last set, I played so much Paladin when the set launched. I think I'm going to have to test a bunch of Paladin decks again this time. So, yeah, I think in, like, the first 3 days of the set, I had played, like, 16 different Paladin decks. So, yeah, I think I'm going to have to do that again.
I haven't even played 16 Paladin decks in 6 years.
I just remember so much Golden Murgle McGurgle.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
Yeah, I remember watching that too.
So good.
The only Paladin deck I ever liked was Shirvala Paladin. Holy Wrath.
That's so funny because I didn't like that.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and get into the next one here. Devout Pupil, 6 mana, 4/5, Divine Shield, Taunt. Costs 1 less for each spell you've cast on friendly characters this game. And this one, for Paladin, I rated it a 4. Crackwack gave it a 4. Bitbigger gave it a 5. Itachi gave it a 5. Yeah, it seems pretty good. And you're gonna be casting stuff on your things, so it's gonna get the discount.
What the heck is this monstrosity? This is literally the new Corridor Creeper. Oh my god, it's so good. It's so good. Like, you just play buff spells in Paladin, and then you like a 4 mana 4/5 Divine Shield Taunt, probably minimum. Anything less than, even for 4, it's ridiculous. For 3, 2, 1, 0, oh my god, this card is so stupid good. Easy 5. Easy 5. I think this is one of the best cards in the set. It's just, I don't know how good Paladin will be. They have quite a few good tools from this set, so could get there. And this card is pushing it real hard.
Oh, this isn't. I agree with everything you said. Easy 5. It's nuts. Even at 6, pretty good. Most of the time, it's going to be around 4, which is still overpowered. And any cheaper than that is just insane. It was by far the best card in the Paladin set. The Paladin cards for me.
Oh yeah, this is literally just Sunwalker on base form. And
Well,
Sunwalker, I don't want to put in my deck, but Sunwalker is not terrible. It's one of the best things you can get off, like an Evolve into a 6 or Power of Creation.
that's what I was
And
gonna
this-
bring up too. Like, it adds another taunt, which like I feel like a lot of times off Power of Creation, you're also looking for taunts, and this just adds another one in there. So it's like, yeah, this seems good.
It's cheap. It's acts offensively and super defensively too. It's just literally just the best card you could possibly want in the deck. Oh, it's so good. This might make me play Paladin. I might have more than 150 Paladin wins.
This is more of what Pally needs to make a comeback, is stuff like this.
Mhm.
I think it's right in the wheelhouse of what Paladin should be.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Okay. Next one here, Gift of Luminance. 3 mana, give a minion Divine Shield, then summon a 1/1 copy of it. Yeah, not sold on this. I gave it a 2. Crackwack gave it a 2. Bitbeaker gave it a 2. Atashi gave it a 1. There might be a situation that you want to play it, but I don't know. I feel like the summoning a copy, like as a 1/1, you don't really care if it's a taunt. I guess they could be a little bit annoying for your opponent, but you don't really care about that. You'd really want this like trigger on something that has a death rattle, or summon a 1/1 copy of something like that when you do something you get an effect, and I just don't feel like there's enough of that to make this good.
Yeah, wow, this is really bad. Like you said, pretty much everything you said. And yeah, the 1/1's just useless. Unless it has insane text, why do I care about a 1/1 Divine Shield? And 3 mana give a minion Divine Shield. They have 1 mana give a minion Divine Shield, and it's never seen play in any Paladin deck ever. So yeah, no, I'm good. Easy one.
Yeah, easy one. I went through the cards and I was like, oh, this would be cool for Death Rattle, right? That's like the only thing it's good for is Death Rattle. I'm like, all right, Paladin, Death Rattle. Oh, no, there's like nothing. There's like the one lion that gives you 1/1s and a dragon that gives you dragons, and I'm like, these are awful and unplayable.
I guess maybe it's okay with like High Abyss Allura, like, because then you get the spell, like the spell effect. Like you summon a 1/1 copy and then you play another spell, and then that, like, maybe you pull a buff out of it. But that's maybe. I don't know.
I'm not playing a card that's good with one of my cards out
Yeah.
of 30.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good, but nah.
All right. Well, this next one, it looks like we have some differing opinions on. Turalon the Tenured. 8 mana, 3/12 rush. Whenever this attacks a minion, set the defender's attack and health to 3. I think this is insane. I gave it a 5. Crackwack gave it a 5. I might have convinced him a little bit as well there, but Bitbeaker gave it a 2. Atachi gave it a 2. I'm thinking dragons.
I want to know why this is better than Lord Barov. They do like the same thing, but Lord Barov is like the entire board, and it costs 3 mana. Right? Or am I missing something?
I guess I'm looking at this in terms of like, Barov is good on a wider board or in combination with something else. This I feel like is also really good if, like, again, I'm just picturing dragons, right? Like, it's really difficult, I guess, unless you set it to 1. But this can work on dragons, like when they have Ysera, or I don't know, something big. Like, I feel like you're going to get multiple uses out of this. And then also, if you can trigger some sort of buff on it, and it has rush, so like you get to kill it right away, which is 1 card. Whereas I feel like some of the other ones are like you have to combo it with something else. So you're using 2 cards to clear something. But I don't know. I think it's good. I'm going to be testing it for sure.
No, I like that. I just think since it costs 8 and 8 mana to kill something seems a bit sketchy. I think I'll just stick to Lord Barov myself. So I got this one out of 1. But yeah, definitely good points that you brought up.
I agree with both of you, and I agree with Neji saying I think it needs to be tested. It's underwhelming for an 8. I think 8 needs to be a little more powerful than kill 1 thing. Maybe kill 2 things. Paladin needs more.
Well, Devout Pupil. That's the more.
True. That should be the legendary.
That card should be legendary. I don't know why you can run 2 with that card. Like, actually, why can I run 2 with that card? it's not bad.
All right. Krakowak is wondering and kind of thinking you might want to run both. Like, why wouldn't you want to run both this and Barov? Which maybe some of the decks you do run both.
Because this one costs 8. I don't like 8 mana removal.
I don't know.
How many 8 drops are you running? Are you still running your Libram guy? Libram of Hope? I know that's going to be cheaper, but still.
Maybe. You could also get this off. Like, are you upset if you get this off Zeph? Like, I guess maybe some of the time you're just Natalie or whatever is better. But I don't mind this either off Zeph.
Wait. Oh, off Zeph.
I think
Yeah.
Natalie's better. Like you said, I think it is better. But...
Okay.
Wait, get this off. Wait, what?
Yeah,
Sorry,
off of Zephyrus.
Oh, sorry. Everyone cut out for a second. I think
Oh,
the
no.
Wi-Fi died. Yeah. All right, we're good. Off Zeph. Wait, you can't get this off Zeph. This is not classic.
Oh, true. Good point. Well, Natalie's way better then. All right.
Yeah, let's take the one that we can actually get.
I got too excited. All right. I think we have differing opinions on this one as well. Let's talk about Ceremonial Maul. 3 mana, 2 attack, 2 durability. Spell burst. Summon a student with taunt and stats equal to the spell's cost. This one... And maybe I convinced Krakowak a little bit with this one as well. I love this card. I think it's a 5. Krakowak gave it a 5. Papika gave it a 2. Itachi gave it a 1. I love this. I want to use this. This is great.
I feel like this is only good in like Big Paladin with Commencement, but you gave Commencement a 2. What is this good with in like actual Paladin?
It's like I'm fine even playing this with like 4, 5, or 6. I think people tend to overreact and think, oh, you only have to play gigantic stuff. I'm totally okay getting a 5/5 taunt.
I mean, I'd be okay getting a 5/5 taunt, but what 5-cost spell am I running?
The very first one that we talked about. That gives something an 8/8. Yeah.
Okay, if you're putting all these in, I guess. but I'm not putting them in, so 1 for me.
What if you put Blessing of Kings, like a good spell?
I'm just going to play Devout Pupil a bunch of times and wreck my opponents. Yeah.
Ceremonial Maul has been really challenging for me to judge. I feel like I need to play with it in both classes. I think it could be cool. I think the only problem is there's just better weapons. Is my only thing. And how many weapons do you want to run? Would you rather this, or would you rather like the 4/2 that heals? What other weapons are there? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm running True Silver instead of this.
I'm running 2 for Fringe. I think it could do some cool stuff. I just don't know yet. I'm not sold.
I've seen a lot of people hyped about this 2 Dragon Rider, so maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I'm not trying to look at like the most insane powerful things you can do with it. With a lot of this stuff, I'm kind of just thinking about what is going to be like the average thing you get. And I feel like with this, again, you're probably, the average thing you're going to get is like 3, 4, or 5, I think. And most of the time I'm okay with that. So, I don't know. All right. Let's talk about first day of school. 0 mana. Add 2 random 1-cost minions to your hand. I don't even remember how I rated this. Okay. I gave this a 3. I think it's kind of in the middle. Like, you might tech this in. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I'm not sure where I'm putting this yet. Krakowak gave it a 2. Bitbigger gave it a 4. Itachi gave it a 5.
Good man. Yeah, I really like this. This really helps you. So, helps you in the early game, but so Paladin has trouble sticking a 1-drop on turn 1. This allows you to get that 1-drop in turn 1. Sure, they're random, but if you think about it this way, on turn 1, you just want to play the best 1-drop you can. So just take the best of the 2 1-drops and just play the good 1-drop on 1 and you're happy. Like, that alone allows for so much consistency in their play. To get something on turn 1 is so important for Paladin. The amount of times I face Paladin where they don't play a 1-drop, I'm like, oh, I won. Like, you don't have anything. You can't come back. You don't have buffs. I'm on board now. And the amount of times where I face the Paladin, they play like that 1/3 on 1. I'm like, oh, this is so annoying because now they can buff it. And also, it's 0 mana. It instantly triggers your spell burst effects for both Goody 2 Shields and High Abyss Allura. It's just so flexible and so exactly what Paladin needs, in my opinion. So that's why I have it at a 5.
I have it at a 4. Because, I mean, dual Paladin. Come on. You don't want to run low-cost stuff. No, I'm kind of just kidding. But it would go in dual Paladin. No, I think it's really good. I think what you said, like, sums it up. It gives you a good curve. It has great value. It has great synergy with Ceremonial Maul. No, I'm just kidding about that, too. But no, I think it's a 4.
I think this is also fantastic in Highlander Paladin, which I'll be testing. Don't y'all worry. I'll be testing some Highlander Paladin again. See how it goes.
I'll be playing dual Paladin.
I'll be playing this card because it's exactly what the Paladin wants.
I mean, Harash makes a good point in chat.
I saw that. Yeah, she's still 3/6. I'm fine with it.
Yeah, might cast this. I mean, you still get the
She's
effect
still
though,
good.
right? Then you still get
You
2
still
random
get the
cost
stuff,
minions.
yeah.
So, maybe it's not that bad.
If I had High Abyss and I played this to trigger it, and then I got another one, I got 4 1-drops, I'm not that upset. That's fine, whatever. And that's a low roll. Most of the time, I'm going to get a buff.
Yeah. All right, well, the last Paladin card, we've kind of talked about it a little bit in respect to other cards, but Goody 2 Shields, 3 mana, 4/2, Divine Shield, Spell Burst, gain Divine Shield. This one I think it's pretty decent. I gave it a 4. Bitbeaker gave it a 4. Itachi gave it a 5. Crackwack, not really sold on it. Gave it a 2. Thinks it might see some play in some decks, but probably not going to be in a lot of Paladin decks.
I think this is just super solid. Great 3-drop. Works with all the things you want to be playing in Paladin. Buffs. It's just really, really, really good. Not a insane 5, but 4 for sure for me. I want this in almost all my Paladin decks, except like a control Paladin, but why am I playing that? Thanks anyways.
I also gave it a 4. It's so well statted for Paladin. And I think if this comes down on 3 and you're playing, I don't know, Rogue or Hunter, you're going to have to put a dumb amount of resources into killing this. It'll just be very annoying to deal with and definitely slow down aggro if that's what Pally needs.
Just like Harash just said, what other minion does Pally actually want to play over this?
3.
This is just so good.
Is the dragon at 3? The
What
Discovery Dragon, Lifesteal.
Yeah, it is. But this is
I
just
think
way
what
better
else
than
is
that. Yeah, this is just better than like everything. It's nice. Paladin. I can tell you last set I was dumpstering all of Paladin's cards in the reviews, I'm pretty sure. But this time around, Paladin's legit.
Yeah, you did kind of dumpster on Paladin a little bit last time. That's okay. It ended up not being that great.
I was like, Librams. I remember we had a huge conversation about Lady Liadrin.
Yeah.
I was
Man.
like, nah.
Ooh. I'm gonna test that too. Maybe she's better now. Some of these other things.
Maybe. Probably not.
I can hope, okay.
7 mana, 4/6. I'm out. I mean, yeah, she might be. There's some new tools. Have to try it.
All right, we have talked about 5 classes tonight. We have 1 more to go. Priest is going to be our last class for tonight, and we'll do the other half tomorrow. All right, so let's go ahead and start Priest. first card here.
No.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
Can't wait to
Go ahead.
see our difference in opinions on these. This is gonna be great. All right, Initiation, 6 mana. Deal 4 damage to a minion. If that kills it, summon a new copy. Let's see, this one. Yeah, I gave a 2. Bitbeaker gave a 1. Itachi gave a 2.
I give it 2.
Yeah, no, I'm really good on this one.
Yeah.
This is like so bad. This is like Aeon Reaver, and nobody plays that. It's like Aeon Reaver, but worse. This is assuming you have a minion on board to like hit the first part of it, and then you deal the 4 extra, so you get something sort of big. Otherwise, you're literally dealing 4 to a minion, and it's going to be a 4/4 or worse, pretty much, which is what Aeon Reaver is. So this is literally Aeon Reaver, but worse, and that card sees no play. So yeah, we're good. 1 on this one for me.
1, too expensive. Not much else to add.
Fair. All right, next, Wave of Apathy. 1 mana. Set the attack of all enemy minions to 1 until your next turn. This one, I think, is better in Priest than in Paladin. I gave it a 4, but Beaker gave it a 3. Itachi hates it, gave it a 1.
I actually like it better here, and it's a 4.
Yeah. Yeah, it has cool synergies with the new guy, Cabal Acolyte, that steals something with Spell Burst, because you play this and then you instantly steal something. It's also just good like Cabal Shadow Priest. The Priest just has more ways to use it. I don't know if it's good, but Priest has a lot more ways to take advantage of it. You can use Shadow Madness maybe. It's just more synergies here. So I put it as a 3. I'm dropping it to a 2. I think it has more potential than Paladin, but I still don't think it's that great.
I gave it a 3, which is almost a 2. I like the Cabal Acolyte. It's cool. So the one thing I remember, I was watching, I think it was the No Hands review. They said something about on 8, you could Wave of Apathy and then Soul Mirror. So then wait, is that how it works? All right, so you would Soul Mirror, and they'd all attack, and then on their turn they would still be 1 health, but when it comes back to your turn, they would go back to their normal attack, and then you would have board. It's an interesting combo.
Huh. That's kind of interesting. It's like a Frost Nova.
Right, you'd get a
And
full
you develop-
board, and you'd have the advantage of the trades. I don't know if
Is it worth it,
Seems
though?
like a dream, but
Yeah.
well, because it lasts until your turn, right?
Yeah.
So when you'd Soul Mirror, and then it would go to their turn, and they'd all still be 1 attack, right? Everything would be 1 attack, so they couldn't make good trades. So when it comes back to your turn, then all the minions would go back to full attack if they stick.
Yeah, that's fair.
it's cool.
It's a cool thing. I think it has cool combos, but I don't think it's that great.
These types of cards you usually don't see any play. There was that pint-sized potion that was very similar.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that was very good.
I think card removal is always going to be better than I'll deal with it later. I think Maev was another one last set that people were like, oh, this is nuts. And then you played with it and you're like, oh, I still have to deal with this. It's not as good. I'd rather have something that deals with it now instead of later.
Yeah, Frost Nova is like the only exception because they literally can't play anything or attack. With this, if they were like, oh, I'm going to die to a bunch of big minions, they can trade them all in and then play stuff. So, yeah. Seems bad.
All right. Talk about the next one. Draconic Studies. 1 mana. Discover a dragon. Your next one costs 1 less. This one... I again, differing opinions on this. I don't know. I think it's decently fine. I gave it a 4. But Beaker gave it 2. Itachi gave it a 1.
I really like it. It's a 5.
I like the art.
There it is great.
The book looks so sick. I want to read this book.
It's a 5.
Okay, for card, I have this as a 2. I think dragons are a lot better than most of the other things. I looked through the pool. I mean, you didn't really need to look through the pool because Draconic Lackey exists, and we already have played that a million times, so we know pretty much what you can expect. Draconic Lackey usually gives you something pretty good, and this also can cheat it out for 1 mana. I think you'd only play this in like a Highlander Priest. I would never see this in like Gala Priest. So for that reason, I have it as a 2 for Fringe. But I don't think it's terrible.
I gave it a 1 mainly because it's the same thing. I don't think it'll make the 30 cards. It's just not good enough. Just not a good enough card to make 30.
Yeah, maybe.
We need Dragon Priest to be a thing again.
I
miss
love
Dragon
Dragon
Priest.
Priest. It was actually a good Priest deck. It was actually fun.
Yeah.
Unlike Priest, the last forever. Gala Priest is the most resonant sleeper deck ever. Just saying.
All right. This is an interesting one. I think this has kind of been a hot topic card in a lot of the community. 2 mana, 1/3, Battle Cry. Swap hands and decks with your opponent until your next turn. All right. This one, I gave a 2. I don't like it. Bitbigger gave it a 4. Atachi gave it a 3.
I love it.
He gave it
5.
a 5.
Crack Whack,
I
you're a
love it.
legend.
Yep.
All right.
Oh my god, not this card.
Do y'all want to tell me why it's good, and then I'll say why I
Yes.
don't like it?
I will explain.
All right.
Okay, multiple uses. Okay, first use, very obvious. Against combo decks, you take their hand, you steal their stuff. And I know you don't think there's going to be that many combo decks. I don't think there will be either. But this deck almost always loses to Quest Warlock, and this literally allows you to just not lose. You just play all their burst spells. That's one use.
I agree.
Next, if you play this on turn 2, against an aggro deck, you steal their hand. You can't play anything out of it, sure. They get your priest handful of like removal spells. What are they going to do? Breath on 3? No. But also, they draw a card for you. Think about it this way. You're denying them a draw by playing this on turn 2 because you play this. You draw a card on your turn. You play this. It goes to their turn. They draw a card for your hand. Sure, they could play it, but they don't get a card for their hand. And then it goes back to you and you draw again. So you're also denying them card draw for their turn, and you're denying them an entire turn of playing anything pretty much. Like, it's just so good, like, all the time.
That's why you're a legend.
I have it as a 5, so I think it's just
Yep.
insane.
I have it as a 4. I like the whole second half of what you said. I like dropping it on 2 against aggro. I like denying them a draw. I like denying them a turn. I think it gets difficult later when people actually have mana and can use spells, and them using your spells. Priest mirrors, it could be iffy. It's very situational, and you get to control that, but...
I mean, Priest Mirrors, if they haven't played Galakron, you could take this and take their Galakron against, like, Highlander
Kronk.
decks. Yeah, or Kronks. You play this, you're like, oh, Zephyrus, thanks, nice, feels good. Against aggro decks later in the game, you dump their whole hand, they come back to their hand, they have nothing left. I just don't even see a matchup where it's bad ever.
Right?
What if you
Right?
have something in hand? What if you have the Zephyrus? What if you have the Galakron? Then you can't play it right, and it's a dead card.
I think the only situation where this is bad is if you haven't played your own Galakron. Every other card in your hand is pretty expendable in Priest. Like, you just generate card after card after
Murazan?
card.
Well, I guess your Murazan turn wouldn't have been great, but you lose your Murazan, your Soul Mirror you could lose.
I'm not too upset about losing, like, my Soul Mirror for 7 mana if I dump all their cards out of their hand and play all their good cards. Priest, like, does not play that many good cards
You could
that
take,
are that essential, right?
you could take Primes, which is cool.
Yeah, you can just take all the good stuff. Priest doesn't have that much good stuff. They generate more stuff over and over, renews, hero powers. It's just, and imagine getting this off of Gala Priest hero power. You could play multiple of these in the game. That is just, I'm like 100% sure this card gets nerfed. Like, over 100% sure this card gets nerfed. It's so egregious at 2 mana to me. Oh god, I hate this card because I hate Priest and never want to play against this. So gross. So gross. This might be the best card in the set to me.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, I've said my piece.
Remember when everybody was like, Chameleos, oh my gosh, this is so sick. You can like figure out what they have. You can do all this stuff. This is amazing. All these other get cards from what they're doing, or oh my gosh, I can do this play, and then they burn a card. It's gonna ruin their combo. I don't know. I don't see it. I think it's overhyped. I think people are reading way too much into it. It's a legendary. You get one. Now, okay, I do agree. If you start, like, pulling this off of the Galakron effects and you can play it, like, multiple times and get it off more than once, yeah, sweet. But I think trying to stall what your opponent is doing, like, I think it's way overhyped. I don't think it's going to be effective every single time that it's in your hand. I don't think there's going to be enough times where you actually want to play it. I think it's going to sit in your hand more often than not, or you kind of play it hoping that they have a thing you want to throw out of their hand, or hoping they have a combo piece or something, and they just don't. And I don't know. I don't see it. I don't think it's there.
As a rogue, you could not togwaggle on 6 against a priest. You'd have to do it on 9. Right?
Yeah, they
so
play this
afraid they'd steal your wand. Yeah.
Imagine playing this against Spell Druid. You take their hand, you dump all their cheap spells for free. Oh my god, it's just so insane.
I do think you'd have to play around it in some instances, like how they can mind control things. I do think you'd have to do some things to play around it, which would be annoying.
I feel like you have to play around this in every single matchup at like all points of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't the consensus as rogue though? Like generally against priest, you're not even using wand, or you're using it like the turn you take it. I don't know. I think in a lot of cases as rogue, you're taking crown or something against priest instead of wand.
I feel like you could never Kronks to get your Galakron against priest. You'd have to wait your Kronks till after Galakron.
I don't know. I think everybody's hype is like generating more hype from other people, and everyone's like, "Oh my god!" I don't know. I still just don't see it. Maybe I'm completely wrong. I'm completely wrong. I'm ready.
I think it'll be annoying though.
Best card in the set.
Sure, having a full hand and burning a card and potentially a good card—that's annoying too. But I don't know. Card. I don't see it.
Hearthstone is completely played around swing turns and like one good card in like every deck. It's so good.
Okay, if your deck relies on you having that one card and your one card gets taken away, that's not a good deck. That's not a good deck then.
That's literally Galakron Rogue. That's literally Galakron Rogue. And
there's like more than one good card in Galakron Rogue.
You could play this against Warrior, just like play their skippers. Oh my, it's so good.
It's good.
I mean, even now, how many times has Priest thought still the perfect card? Right? And you're like, of course they got that card. That's what it's going to be.
And this gives you their entire hand. You're just like, thanks. This just kills like so many decks instantly. Like against Druid, like I said, you just dump their entire hand. All their stuff costs like 1 or 0. You just give their hand back and they have 1 Mount Seller in their hand. They're like, okay. I don't know. I'm just very passionate about this card.
No, I love that there's differing opinions on this. I don't know. Again, yeah, like you mentioned, like I don't think there's going to be as much combo stuff as what everyone's expecting. And again, maybe I'm completely wrong. It's fine if I'm wrong. I will look back on this and be like, wow, what was I thinking? Which is fine.
We were right, Neji.
I hate that this card exists because it's in my least favorite class. And I think it's the best card.
Yeah.
Just listen. I guarantee you this card gets nerfed. That's all I gotta say now.
All right.
We'll see though.
Absolutely. Well, let's go ahead and talk about the
Yeah.
next one here. Raise Dead, 0 mana, deal 3 damage to your hero. Return 2 friendly minions that died this game to your hand. Now, this one, I don't know. I don't like this one either. I'm not sold on it. I gave it a 2. Bitbeaker gave it a 3. Itachi gave it a 3.
Yeah, after thinking about it, it's a 3.
I got this one at a 2 for myself. I don't think I like it as much in Priest as I do in Warlock. I feel like in Warlock you actually can utilize the self-damage effect, which is part of the card that I actually like. In Priest, it's more like you just get 2 minions. It's like extra value, and I don't think you need any extra value in Priest these days. So I think it's bad. I'm going to drop it from a 2 to a 1, actually.
Yep, I
That's
have a
just what
better
I'm-
one. It's underwhelming. It only really goes in Res Priest, and I hate that deck with a passion, and I hope it's not a deck. So, 1.
I mean, I think it's like, to me, it seems bonkers if it plays them for you, but the fact that it puts them back in your hand, it's like, like, okay. I don't know. Because then you have to then play them out from your hand, too. I don't know. So, I don't like it as much. Anything else on this one before we go to the next?
No, I think that's good. We'll talk about it for Warlock tomorrow.
Perfect. All right, next one, Power Word Feast, 2 mana, give a minion +2/+2, restore it to full health at the end of this turn. This one, again, like, scores all over the place. I think it's pretty solid. I gave it a 4. Bitbeaker gave it a 2. Itachi gave it a 2.
I really like it.
He gave it a 4.
A 4.
Card is great. It's really good. I just don't know if you can build a Tempo Priest deck in the current meta right now. The 1 mana 1/4 really does help that. I just don't know if you can really do it. So that's why I have it at a 3 right now, but it could be a 4. It's definitely really powerful early game. So if you can like consistently get like a 1 cost and buff it, then yeah, this is pretty insane.
I have it at a 2. There's a lot of hype about Cube Priest, Split Priest, Tempo Priest, whatever you want to call it. There's already a Cube Priest, and it's decent, right? There's more tools for it, and I think a lot of people are pretty excited. And they're also adding that neutral where you draw cards, because I think that's where Tempo Priest struggles, is it has no value. Like, you run out of cards so quickly. So they're giving it a lot of tools. I still think it's French, and that's why I gave it a 2. But I hope that deck's good. I hope there's a deck other than Snooze Priest.
Snooze Priest. All right. All right. So we talked about this for Paladin, but let's talk about how good it is in Priest. Hi, Abyss Allura, 4 mana, 3/6. Spell burst, cast a spell from your deck. Targets this if possible. This, I'm not as sold on in Priest. I think Priest has a lot more like reactive and removal stuff. Not quite as many buffs. Or if you are, like, you're probably severely limiting what spells you're running to make this better, which I don't know if that's a thing. So I gave it a 2. Crackwack gave it a 2. Bitbeaker gave it a 1. Itachi gave it a 1.
Exactly what you said. This really limits how you're building your priest deck. Like, there's a lot of spells you want to be running that really are quite bad if you target this. I'm not super sure you can play this in any deck. I gave it a 1. I don't think there's a high enough concentration of buff spells that you can just run buffs in a priest deck either. If there was, sure, this is really good, but I don't think that's possible. So 1 for me.
This is a 2 for the same reason the last card was a 2. I think it would only go in Cube Priest, and you would have to definitely play around it. But even if you do want to run Shadow Word Death, it wouldn't kill this. It would just burn it, so some of the cards like that wouldn't be as big a deal. but I think it's still a fringe deck.
Yeah, I think that's fair. All right. Back to Devout Pupil. 6 mana, 4/5, Divine Shield Taunt. Costs 1 less for each spell you've cast on friendly characters this game. We all really liked it in Paladin, but again, kind of for the same reasons. Like, I don't think it's as good in Priest. Maybe, like, I gave it a 3. I think maybe if the kind of like tempo style Priest deck that were kind of talking about is a thing, then I think you play Haya Basilura and this Devout Pupil in that. Krakowak gave it a 2, Bitbeaker a 3, Itachi gave it a 1.
I don't think it's as good as, definitely not as good in Priest. I think if you're playing that buff deck, this goes in the deck. It's still quite good, but there are way more buff spells in Paladin that just naturally go into your Paladin deck. So I got this as a 3 because of just like Powered Feast, that goes in the same deck, but definitely weaker than in Paladin.
I feel like it's the same. It's the same as everything I just said. If Tempo Priest is a deck, it's a fine card that would go in it. So I think I gave it a 3 because it's slightly better statted than a lot of the tempo stuff we have seen so far.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Again, Gift of Luminance. 3 mana, give a minion Divine Shield, then summon a 1/1 copy of it. Doesn't look like a lot of us are very high on it in Priest either. I gave it a 2, Krakowak a 2, Bitbeaker 3, and Itachi 3. So again, maybe it goes in that like tempo, target your own stuff Priest. I don't know.
I'm gonna bump mine from a 1 to a 2 because actually, I think maybe you're right. It could go into the tempo buff Priest that we've been talking about the last few cards. Other than that, nah, it's definitely better in here than Paladin. The Divine Shield in Paladins, like you get those all the time. In Priest, it's pretty good because you have heals and stuff. Give it a 2.
I had it at a 4 and I went down to a 3. I think it has decent synergy with Vile Weaver. I feel like that's one of the few 1/1s that would be solid, but I don't know how many spells you would be able to get off with it. But that'd be so much value if you would be able to even get 1 spell off with 2 Vile Weavers.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
I
that's
also
kinda cool.
heard No Hands was saying like Grave Rune. So if you did this to something that had a Grave Rune, the 1/1 would also get the Grave Rune.
Yeah.
It has combo-y potentials, but nothing too exciting.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, who dropped?
Krakowak.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, I don't know. His Discord stopped working, so he just reconnected. Okay. Next one, Cabal Acolyte. 4 mana, 2/6 Taunt. Spellburst, gain control of a random enemy minion with 2 or less attack. This one, I like it. I think it's pretty solid, especially if there's like a more aggressive meta, because it has the taunt as well, and then you could steal something. So I gave it a 4. Looks like Bitbeaker gave it a 2. Itachi gave it a 4. Krakowak gave it a 4.
I got a 3 on this guy. It's kind of like a Bone Wraith to me. And then sometimes you get an extra little effect. I'm really not sure how consistently you can get the spell burst effect to go off, but seems decent enough. I kind of want to go from a 3 to a 2. I'll keep it at a 3. Maybe you actually put this into the buff priest deck because you run buffs, trigger it, make a bigger taunt, steal their guy. Yeah.
I gave it a 2. I'm not super excited about it. I mean, the Wave of Apathy thing is interesting, but it's still a random target. I'm underwhelmed. I don't think it might fit in Res Priest. I don't see it in Gala Priest, though.
Yep.
Okay. All right, next we have Flesh Giant. 8 mana, 8/8, costs 1 less for each time your hero's health changed during your turns. When I first saw this, like when it was first revealed, I was like, whoa, this is really cool. But I think the more I've thought about it, I'm like, I don't think it's that great, really. Like, you might be able to get it for pretty cheap, but then you're just dropping this 8/8. It's like, Like, you probably just want to play other stuff. So I gave it a 2. Bitbeaker gave it a 2. Itachi gave it a 2.
I gave it a 2, almost a 1.
Yeah. These next 3 dual class cards I feel are all Warlock only.
Yeah.
This one feels terrible in Priest. I don't see any possible deck you play this in. Easy one.
Yeah, easy one. Payoff not worth it. Not a Priest card.
All right. Well, that was easy. All right, next one. Disciplinarian Gandling. 4 mana, 3/6. After you play a minion, destroy it and summon a 4/4 failed student. Yeah, kind of the same thing. I like Neji mentioned with the last one. I like it a lot more in Warlock, but for Priest, I feel like it's a 2. Like, maybe there's something you do with it, but I'm not seeing it. Bitbeaker gave it a 3. Itachi gave it a 2.
I said 2, but I think 1 right now.
Good choice. Yeah, I'm going a hard one on this. I can't think of a possible thing you do with this at all. In Priest, there's no way. You don't play cheap things ever. So nah, I'm good.
1. Oh yeah, I put easy 1, not a Priest card.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, next we have Brittlebone Destroyer. 4 mana, 3/3. Battlecry, if your hero's health changed this turn, destroy a minion. I actually decently think this is fine. I gave it a 4. Bitbeaker gave it a 2. Itachi gave it a 2. I mean, you could just heal, and then you get to use this to destroy
Or
a minion.
hero tap.
Well, we're talking about Priest.
Oh.
Yeah. Just Priest, you're healing. Or, I don't think there's anything you're getting in Priest, like, take damage.
The only way to make this cheaper is renew, right? Pretty much.
Yeah.
I got a 1 on this. I'm not playing this in my deck. I run Shadow Word Death for 2 mana for a reason if I'm playing Priest. Or Time Rip is 5 mana. You don't really care about the body, and almost every single time this costs 6, so it's just like Aeon Reaver. So nah, I'm good. We'll make it. I'll put a 1 on that.
Yeah, I had a 2, and I think I want to go 1. I had this, we were playtesting a little bit when I was playing with the hubby, and it just stayed in my hand. It's so hard to play and inefficient. It's pretty much a 6 mana, 3/3. Destroy a minion, which is just terrible.
I mean, Warlock plays that, though, doesn't it? Warlock
Well, they run
plays
it
this-
in the deck because it's a high roll off of the plot twist.
That's fair.
Well,
If they didn't run plot twist, I would not run Killadan in my deck.
Yeah, that could kill the whole board.
Sure. That's fair. Yeah, this doesn't
I think
have
this
that.
is actually like good in plot twist Warlock though, because you can run like soul fragments and you draw them and heal for free and to do like a 4 mana 3/3. But we'll talk about that tomorrow.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go ahead and look at. I believe this is the last card. It is the last Priest card here. Frazzled Freshman. 1 mana, 1/4. No text. But this one, I think this is pretty dang solid. I gave it a 4. I I feel like Priest needs an early card if they want to really get going, and especially in kind of the like tempo or buff kind of deck that we were talking about earlier. I don't see a score in here for Bitbeaker, but Itachi rated it a 2.
I didn't like it. It was a 2.
Yeah, 3 for me. Same as Powered Feast. They're like identical. They go together, hand in hand. If the deck works, it's good. If it doesn't, it's bad. It's just... I just gotta try the Buff Priest and see how it is. I can't tell if it'll be good or not. So 3 for me.
Same thing. 2 fringe tempo priest
Yeah.
deck. Nothing crazy. Because even in Galakron, I'd rather run the 1-drop, invoke Galakron, add a random minion to my hand.
This is actually a nerf to the Gala Priest, I guess. Random pool, because this is like pretty terrible to get off their hero power.
Oh yeah, true.
But
Yeah,
they
'cause-
got some good stuff with Mindrender Lucia. I can't wait to generate 7 of those in one game. Nice. God, I love Priest.
I'm ready for that card to be bad, and Dawn is gonna rub it in your face.
It's getting nerfed. There's no chance it doesn't get nerfed. It's so good. All right, okay. Every time someone mentions it, I'm just gonna pop off.
I can't wait until we start the meme on that card about nerfed by the way. Nerfed by the way.
I'll be like, nerf, just like I said.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta have some hot takes in these.
I know.
Gotta have some hot takes. I think we did last time, and it was a lot of fun. And I'm sticking with it. Everybody else is like, it's so good, and I'm like, nah, I don't know. I gotta play the part.
That's the great thing about the card reviews. That's what I love about them. Everyone has different opinions and stuff, and we get to discuss. And then, even during the reviews, I'm like, oh wait, yeah, you're right. This is actually just good, not trash, or vice versa. And yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, and I think Christine and I were kind of talking about that earlier before the stream too. Is like, it's not always like doing this. A lot of people are like, oh, they like to go back and make fun of people if they were wrong or whatever. It's like, it's not about being right.
Yeah.
It's about the discussion and trying to like think of these different ways to use it. And then later going back and being like, whoa, like what were we thinking, or whatever. Like we had this hot take and it ended up being right or whatever. It's the fun of it and talking about different possibilities and then seeing how it actually plays out.
A lot of times I want to be wrong. Like, I want some of these cards that I underestimate to be very powerful in new decks to happen,
Oh, I'd love Mindrender Lucia to be trash. Trust me, I don't like Priest. I'd be thrilled if it was a 1. Thrilled. It'll be a 1 once they nerf it to 5 mana. Don't worry.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're bound to be wrong. Warglave's 1 star, by the way. That was like that was the biggest mistake I've ever made in a card review in my entire life, by far. I remember calling that card trash. I specifically remember I said every other weapon in Demon Hunter is just better, so you don't play this. And it's literally just by far the best weapon. That was hilarious. Yeah, it's fun.
That's okay. But yeah, that was the end of it. We did it seemed like a lot of we did 6 classes tonight, including Demon Hunter that had a little bit more. The Demon Hunter has a little bit more cards because they're trying to get it kind of caught up to where everything else is. So tomorrow night, same time, we're going to be doing this. And we're going to be covering the other 4 classes that we didn't get to, in addition to the neutral cards. So it ended up being about the same amount of cards per night, even though it feels like we did so much. Don't worry, we have just as many tomorrow. But yeah, hopefully everybody enjoyed tonight's stream. Thank you everybody that hung out, and then we'll be getting all this stuff up on YouTube and everything as well. So any other closing statements or anything else that anybody wants to throw out there before we close it out for tonight?
I'm just excited to finish the review tomorrow. It's been a lot of fun.
Yep, I'm having a lot of fun. I was just looking at class averages, and so far Druid is by far the highest.
Really?
Not surprised.
To be
Much
fair,
balance, much wow.
Bitbeaker hasn't done like the last half, so. But it's still an average, right? So does it not include him? I don't know. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Druid RP.
And apparently Hunter's trash. Don't worry, Highlander Hunter's the best deck of the game.
I was gonna say it's hard because like compared to what we already have for Hunter, like it's hard to rate the stuff highly because like what we already have is so good.
Mm-hmm.